Wheelersburg, dude. Like, there's I don't know. I couldn't find like anything about his
Welcome into the Ride the Wave show on this fabulous Tuesday here. Thank you for joining us. Sid the Squid in studio today, saving the day. Thank you, Sid the Squid. Always coming in clutch there. We got a lot to talk about today. We got Wheelersburg head coach coming on here in just a few minutes. We got Chris Crabtree from Waverly coming on to talk about what they're looking like. They're going to look like they could be quite a problem this year. But how do they – got to ask him, you lose a Jace Hurd for graduation. How do you kind of try and fill that hole? I'm curious to see how that goes. And then – we got Adam's courtroom. We'll be back in session today. And then we get to talk a little bit about, the miscellaneous teams, the SOC of the TVC, all those guys, and see how we think that they'll end up this year, fantasy-wise plus, real-wise. And then we're going to get to what everybody's been waiting to see. Our top 5 running backs, our top 5 fantasy running backs, we'll be going over those today. Tony, I know you're excited to go over that today.
Yeah, I mean, you wait for it till the end. I think it's the funnest one. It's going to define your team. You got a good running back that they're obviously going to get the touches, so these are the ones that can make or break your squad. How early you have to take a quarterback might be dictated by where you get.
Yeah, I'm really, with the 6-team league this year, I'm kind of like, when do you go running back to running back, maybe wide receiver, maybe QB, and, is the first player off the board this year even a running back? Adam, what are you feeling on today's show and breaking down these running backs and some other stuff?
I mean, really, when it comes to drafting and stuff like that, I think a big thing is going to be schemes and systems to see kind of what these guys are running, because maybe a quarterback is going to be more beneficial than just running backs, because, again, if you have a two-way player at a quarterback spot, then it's going to be a fantasy nightmare for whoever is playing against it,
So, yeah, getting into that, I'm excited to see where you guys have your top 5 running backs. I feel like we'll probably be the same whenever it comes to a couple of picks, but I'm kind of excited to see where you guys go from there on. Let's get into these teams. Let's go up with Waverly first. They had a pretty good season last year, making the playoffs. They had a winning season, which Coach Crabtree is no stranger to. But going into this year, they got a tough slate again.
Went 6-4 regular season last year, but they had some really tough losses. The Miami Trace, they played Wheelersburg and Ironton, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they played Jackson as well.
Yeah,
I don't think.
No, they didn't play Jackson, but they played Union, which they did win that, but it's still a hard game. They had
won it 28 unanswered comeback. The down 14, 28 unanswered is what I meant.
And then this year they're going to have the same thing. They're going to be at Miami Trace, and then Zane Trace and Union at home. So Waverly's no stranger to having. I mean, that's 3 tough games before you get into a conference that
Waverly has a chance to really just dominate the SVC.
Yeah,
if they come out and they beat Zane Trace and Union,
which they did last year.
Yeah.
So looking to
I didn't know they played Zane Trace as well.
Looking to run it again, and because then they get into a conference that's Portsmouth West, that's
a tough conference.
Yeah, and then you have Wheelersburg in there, which again we'll be talking to Coach Rob today, and then Minford in there. They're never an easy out. So, Tony, do you have any thoughts on Waverly and what they're looking like this year, either fantasy-wise or just going through their schedule? I mean,
I think they're definitely a sleeper. And the reason I feel like, yes, they lost Jace Hurd, but they had a guy in, I'm going to butcher his name, Jevin Hoxtall, who had a decent amount, a little prelude there too, had a decent amount of yards for himself.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot more touches, and then I think that meets in the middle with Mason Kelly.
Yeah.
Being 1 year older. So it's like
with Cody Swords coming back as well, that number 1 target.
I feel like there's a lot of yards there to be gotten back from Jason. I don't think he's
I felt like he was the number 2 target last year, and there was another guy that we're just kind of forgetting.
Who, Cody?
No, because they have Mason Pollard out there as well. No, not Mason Pollard. I have to remember his name. I have it right here.
But
because I had Swords last year, and I just remember I always felt like there was one guy getting just as much or maybe just slightly more fantasy points than him at the receiving spot.
Yeah, so they have Mason Pollard out there as well, which, they could be kind of more of like a great number 2, not a number 1 wide receiver, because I feel like you're kind of right. I feel like Mason Pollard did get a lot of the shares as well last year. I feel like it was one – you never had them both really going off. They had some blowout wins, so yeah, on those ones. But, it wasn't the consistency as that they were both bad. Just one was the one that was –
your running back's getting 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. One handoff for 40 yards, too.
I think it changes a little bit this year.
Which they were passing a lot to him out of the backfield as well. So that takes away a lot of passing opportunities.
This Stephen Hawksville kid, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And I highly doubt, when you looked at Jace Hurd, you were like, he was a freak athlete. But, we're going to talk to the coach here soon. But one thing he's big on is, powerlifting, being in shape. I really don't think athletically it'll be that much of a drop off. So I think they're definitely a sleeper team.
I think for Waverly, the first few games is definitely going to set the tone for their season to kind of dictate.
Do they play Jackson and stuff like that?
No. So first 3 games, Miami Trace, Zane Trace, Unioto. Do we think that we're going into those 3 games 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, 0-3? What are you thinking? Miami Trace is a really good team. Zane Trace, Unioto.
Do they start conference play in week 4?
I do believe so. They have Valley, and I do believe that is in their conference.
I think 2-1.
2-1.
I could see them going 3-0.
Yeah.
I just think
I'm on that
tough. I think St. Trace I feel like it'd be tough to beat both of them coming out of it. I mean, they're definitely a sleeper team.
I'll go 2-1 because I think Miami Trace might get in week 1.
Just with what happened last year, I just don't see it happening. I think Waverly's got a bad taste in their mouth because they should have won that. At least what I heard. I haven't watched the tape. Not trying to take anything away from Miami Trace. I'm sure they're probably like, well, no, we should have won it because we did. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think I think they have a little bit to prove there, and I don't know about that.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. And the other 2 teams, they've lost a decent bit.
Yeah.
So
it's that's why I think it's going to help them is they're going to have so much more rapport.
Well, now we could get an answer to a lot of these questions in a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's go into our next school near and dear to Adam's heart, Vinton County. They start off the season at Unioto, then they have Trimble, and then they have Meigs, Alexander, and Athens. What are we thinking, Adam, on Vinton County this year? I know you have some high hopes down there with Coach Games.
Yeah, for sure. But like he said, it's a young team. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure they lost something over. It's definitely over 11. I for some reason I want to say 19, but I don't think it was quite 19 seniors. But it could have been. But like he said, they got a real young team, 2 young quarterbacks, a sophomore and a freshman. He did get that O-line solidified down there, which if he's saying it's good, then it's good.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not going to be much of a rebuild year. It's just going to be a reload, and hopefully they get another TVC championship down there. But I'm looking for them to start 1-0.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch them. I'd be lying to you if I told you I have any idea what they're going to look like this year. I had no clue. But that's kind of what makes me so excited to watch them because you're going to learn a lot.
All you have to do is go back and watch last week's episode.
Yeah,
because Coach Game said he gave a little bit of insight. He said they're going to be kind of similar to what they were last year because he's going to keep kind of the same system as Clark.
But with losing 11 seniors, you're going to have a lot of guys.
You don't know who. It's not necessarily what. You know what they're going to do. You just don't know who's going to be doing it.
Who's going to be the ones that's going to be
Lane
stepping up
Hayborn is somebody that I think is going to be really good because he was good fantasy-wise last year. He was kind of like a few touches, a lot of points kind of guy. He was usually catching big passes out of the backfield or getting a handoff and taking it kind of far and getting a touchdown off of it. So he was 3-4 touches a game, maybe have a touchdown or 2.
Yeah, and I wonder what that defense is going to look like because they had a great defense last year. I feel like that helped.
Exactly what I have in here.
Yeah,
I want to do if they have half the defense, which obviously Gaines was a defensive mind, so that's what was his first job. But if it's half as good as it was last year, you're good. That's why I asked about the cornerbacks. I wanted to know so bad if we're still looking like we did
because.
I'd like to see what those linebackers are going to be like.
Yeah.
Those linebackers and the defensive ends because they I want to say it was Swaim. They had a defensive end. Mm-hmm. He could have been a linebacker, but he had a beautiful flow, beautiful.
They had
hair.
They had at least a top 6 or 7 defense last year, probably top 5.
I think
fantasy-wise.
Fantasy-wise, I think it was 1 or 2.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest,
it was them and Unioto.
And Sean Terry had receptions.
Yeah, isn't that insane? Yeah, that is insane. So yeah, I don't know what to expect out of them this year.
They also had I'm pretty sure they had more 0 points games than Unioto did. So I'm pretty sure that's why it put them because they were one of my best scoring
I'm not gonna lie,
teams
they played
ever.
The last game of the season, I don't think it might have played out differently.
Yeah.
Than the first.
Week 2. I don't even have to go to the last. If you get
again, they made a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dropped a couple. I didn't go back and watch the film, but from what I hear, they dropped a couple possible turnovers and things. They don't do that later on. Later on in the season, man, well-oiled machine.
and that's kind of what we saw too. Is like after
But
that.
you could argue, not to
footwork
just be a homer on one side, you could argue that QB at Union might not have been making the same mistakes because he made one or two mistakes there and got lucky that it didn't get picked. Maybe he's not throwing that same pass there.
Those
if
two
they're
cornerbacks, I'm blanking on the one kid's name, the absolute stud. I apologize, but those two cornerbacks, I think they were better than any two cornerbacks that were in the.
Like the best duo. Yeah, they were a pretty good duo. What do we
I
think?
want to say maybe Hembry was one of them. Matt Hembry.
Yeah,
because he
Hembry,
caught 103
because we
yard
thought he was
touchdown.
going to be big on the offensive end, and he was there, but on the defensive end is where he.
I'm
was
pretty sure
shining.
against Meggs he caught like 103-yard interception, like a pick
Like
six.
Trent Walters, dude. Same thing. That kid just got picks.
Now,
I'm pretty sure Hembry graduated.
opening up though at Uniota and then playing Trimble. I mean that's a hard first 2 games for a new young
From
team.
what I've understood, it's not the Trimble of old. But
Okay.
I mean, but it Trimble is like they're when we were in high school, they
When we
were
were in high
like
school, they were a
Final
football
Four,
powerhouse, yeah.
like losing state championships. Did they ever win one when we were in high school? Because I know they lost like
I know they
two.
went to the Final Four.
Yeah, I thought they lost 2 state championships.
they
or
could
one,
have.
but-
I was looking at Perry the other day, and I was like, why are these people good?
Why are these people good?
They're so nasty. They just
Yeah, there's a place
everyone
close to
out.
Trimble called Gloucester. If you meet a man from Gloucester and he tries to fight you, just do anything you can not to fight that guy. Just do.
And hope he just carries
Yeah,
it
just
in
be,
and
yeah, like I mean anything to not like fight those guys from Gloucester.
All right, who's next?
Yeah, let's go into them. Vinton County, I'm just not going to give anything out there because I just don't know.
Well, I don't
So.
want to talk out of pocket, but I'm telling
Yeah.
you, if they have half the defense, they will be just fine.
I
let's
think that
go.
defense
Half
is going
the
to be
coaches
so.
are,
Yeah.
yes, they lost their coach, but I think Marcus coming in, he's going to be an absolute stud too. So I don't think there's a big drop off there. So if they can keep playing the same defense, we're
Let's go to another friend of the program, Eastern Eagles. I'm really excited to see
Very.
what they're doing this year. With
Very, really
the,
excited.
with the new quarterback, the new wide receivers that they have out there, the new scheme that they're.
I was about to say scheme.
Scheme enough over there. They open up versus Miller. Don't know Miller at all. Never even heard of him.
Only
so
no light.
I'm going to take Eastern in that one.
Miller, I barely know her.
Jesus. I'm more of a Miller light kind of guy.
That's
not,
why I said only no light.
not a Miller.
I'm a Miller High Life kind of guy. It's the Champagne. Champagne.
I
Then
always like
they
the price.
are at
Price is
Huntington and host Southeastern, so they dip in the SVC as well. Then they got Fayetteville, Southern, East, Sims Valley, Notre Dame, South Galley, and Green. I think that they could go for 4 in a row on winning their conference 4 years in a row.
Yeah, I think they can. So, how many conference games do they got?
I want to say it starts with East, so they have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 conference games.
Okay, so who's the non-conference again? We said we got
Non-conference they got
Miller.
Miller, Huntington, Southeastern, Fayetteville, Perry, and then Southern.
Okay, so Fayetteville is the only one that I feel
And
like
the-
maybe
and
I don't know
two-
anything about.
2 of those 5 are only at home, so they're on the road quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
A couple of those places, there's just I don't think there's too much of a home field, like a home
Yeah.
presence, but there might be. I
Fayette,
might
Big
be.
Bet, don't
Yeah.
care yet. Eastern by 20, bud.
Yeah, so I don't know them, but yeah, I think they have the opportunity to go undefeated this year.
I think
This guy's
I think
been
they
there
do.
long enough. Like, there's levels to it. He's played the game. He's taken the team through every level. Now he's being able to take some of the freshmen and know what he wants them to know as a senior. Like, he's growing just as much. I know these kids graduate and stuff.
Not to
but
mention those magic goalposts down there.
Yeah.
they got
They
title
got
residue
Wheelersburg
on them.
Gold in them.
Yeah.
Wheelersburg Gold. I think Notre Dame
that's so awesome.
could be a sleeper team for them to play. They were pretty good last year. That was like their big game. I know that Notre Dame lost a few, but I mean they're Notre Dame.
Fanboy.
So
Yeah,
you gotta watch out.
we don't talk about college anymore on this show.
But yeah, I think Eastern.
Where is Notre Dame at? Is it like around like
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth? That's what I thought because it's Portsmouth Notre Dame is what it's called.
Yeah.
Right? Call it that.
It says Notre Dame on the screen.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
we're
if
calling
I were if I
Do
it.
they,
Play Notre Dame.
do they steal all the logos and stuff, too?
They're Trojan, same colors though.
Uh,
So it's weird.
I would hate that if I were you. I would
That's
hate
what I'm
that.
saying. Like, just be the Irish, man. Let
Yeah.
me buy the knockoff Irish.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would hate that even more. But like, get out of here. You got Is that where Notre Dame is in Ohio and Portsmouth of all places?
Quick
The
side
Lions
note,
left.
Notre Dame near me and Philly was an all-girls school.
Huh?
Was an all-girls school.
Notre Dame, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of sissies. No, I'm kidding.
I went to
Notre
their
Dame, don't
prom.
beat me up.
It was fun.
I went to their prom.
Oh, there's a bunch of all-girls schools, so they always need a thing. I went to 4 proms in 1 year.
Nice, because you know they're not talking to each other.
Everybody's like, I hated prom. And I was like, I'm trying to
Bro,
go more.
I went to 4 of them in 1 week.
All girls prom, if any of them went stag, dude, you'd be swimming in
Right?
it.
It's a win-win situation.
All right, let's move on to Ironton. They went on a deep playoff run last year, lost to Harvest Prep in the regionals.
I'll still stand by. I've said it already earlier. Harvest Prep had the hardest run because I'm pretty sure the week before they played Ironton, they played Wheelersburg.
Let me double check this.
And
real quick, we'll look it up.
Wheelersburg lost him for a second time that season. And then they lost to Perry.
I was talking. Harvest Prep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Perry won the state.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but they had to go through Wheelersburg, Ironton, and then obviously you're playing the best team, but
Yeah, no, like their run
I
was
don't know that
hard.
they. No
So-
offense to him, but I don't know that they scored against Perry.
I cannot remember.
Was it like
what
8
was.
to 21 or something?
I'm looking it up.
I actually have it right here. I screenshotted it because I was like, "Who the hell is Harvest Prep?"
Harvest Prep Academy.
So they
Vinton County beat
they
them.
ended their season last year from Harvest Prep losing 22-0, which is very unlikely for them. But then they beat Portsmouth and Barnesville in the playoffs, and Afrocentric. 34-0, 34-0, 26-13. Now,
Is that
sorry, that was
that's
Wheelersburg.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say.
Wheelersburg did that. My bad. My apologies.
Harvest Prep beat Wheelersburg, then went Ironton and beat them.
And
Yes.
they beat Ironton 20-14, then beat Wheelersburg 22-0, and then lost to Perry 8-22.
8 to 22. Okay.
So,
They scored.
Beating Wheelersburg 22-0. Harvest Prep has come a long way because Vinton County. When I was in high school, it was the first season we didn't go 1-9, and I don't know how long we went 5-5, and we beat them.
So
No,
I
it's
feel
just
like it takes one big alumni.
Yeah, well,
Like,
I
I look at Valley Forge. Like
I
a
think
school
they
that I
were
went
like
to,
almost
so-
a brand new school. Like they were only a few years older.
like an Eastern, like a new program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an Eastern Eagles will be. We're going to be talking in 10
They came
years
out.
about
They
it just
came
being
out
like,
winning.
Harvest
from the
Prep
start.
who? Eastern. Jump
but
in
no,
division.
you know they're opening up with Wheelersburg again this year. Last year they squeaked by. It was a field goal that went in, and then that was pretty much the only thing that scored them there. But them getting put out by Harvest Prep, then Wheelersburg, going on against them. I think it's going to be a great week 1 matchup, as it always is.
It always is. It's
Ground
amazing.
and pound physical football. We could sit here and talk about that all day, or we can ask the guy that has 162. I did not say that wrong. 162 wins. It's been to 2 Final Fours, winning the 2017 state championship. Never has had a losing season as a coach. The legendary Rob Woodward.
Thanks, fellas.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
It's going great. You?
Oh, we're doing great. We're excited to have you on, man. We have been always watching from afar, wondering what is going in the Wheelersburg water down there for why you guys are just kicking ass every single year. So thank you for coming on, and that's pretty much where I'm going to get at first, Coach. You graduated 6 All-Ohio players last year, yet every year I feel like you're graduating 6 All-Ohio players, so it's almost like it doesn't matter. So how are we looking at this year replacing those guys, and what are the Wheelersburg Pirates looking like?
Well, we've had great work in the weight room here in this off season. We start in January, and our guys are fully committed to getting stronger. A lot of guys are participating in other sports, whether it be basketball, throughout the spring and track, but they're working in the weight room all the time. We got 14 seniors this year that are ready to get after it, ready to try to keep that torch moving. Yeah, we're looking at about 14 seniors, right at 20 juniors, 20 sophomores, and then another 20 freshmen. That'll be part of our full varsity unit.
Now we know your quarterback situation down there. Now who are we looking at? Because we're kind of looking at outside looking at who are we looking at for your running backs and your wide receivers standing out down there for you guys.
Well, as you mentioned, Braylon Rucker looks to be battling for the quarterback position. Caden Kahn is another young guy that we got battling in that position too. He's just a talented kid at sophomore that has been working up through our program. But in the backfield, we got another sophomore in Elijah Brown, along with Ison Emnett. We got Brady Doss, who will be, former sophomores. I'm looking at an old list here. Juniors now. Elijah Brown, Ison Emnett, both those guys will be in the backfield. Brady Doss coming to us, moved into our district there from Northwest
That's some football names
last year.
There.
And he's definitely coming along and showing a lot of promise in his ability as we continue to see what he's able to do. And then we got just some younger guys that'll be working up through in that backfield, all looking to vie for a chance to carry the football. And we love to run the football. We love to throw the football. We're looking to try to always spread it around and basically get the ball in our athletes' hands. Kenyon Evans will be one out on the perimeter. That'll be in the backfield at times, or working to get the ball, jet sweep motion, moving across the field and threat down the field. Hunter Bivens is another one that is in that slot position, along with Xavier Miller as a sophomore. He's definitely come along last year. He'll be a sophomore next year. All those guys will be looking kind of in that slot position / extended running back from the backfield that we look to hope to get the ball to.
So it's insane because, like, you go through that entire list, and I'm just like, okay, so I need to draft. So I don't know if you know, but we do have a local high school fantasy league that we do. And pretty much I've been staring at your guys' running backs. So pretty much every time you're listing a player, I'm like, I need to steal him here, steal him there. But, Coach, I wanted to ask, we kind of alluded to when you come on here, everybody knows about Wheelersburg football. I mean, it is a tradition that as soon as you become of age and know football, you hear Wheelersburg football, you hear Ironton football. One, it's amazing to always watch you guys play week one, but how, as a coach, because you have had a long tenure there, what does Wheelersburg football mean to you and to that city?
Well, I'll just start with me first. I was a young kid growing up in Gallipolis, Ohio. Went to Gay Academy High School, traveled up north to Ohio Wesleyan, and played some college ball up there. Came back to Southern Ohio for a year there at Gay Academy, and then was just looking to kind of expand myself and looking for more. I tried for a couple GA positions at some different colleges there early on, and ultimately landed down here at Wheelersburg. I'll be honest, I knew nothing about Wheelersburg prior to that. I was not one that was on. Of course, social media wasn't around, but I quickly joined a group of guys that are still coaching today. I'm so blessed to have 20 years of the same assistants coming up through. We've added a few new faces here and there, but ultimately the core is there with us. And there are guys that learned under the legendary Ed Miller, Larry Hall, guys that had worked to build just the foundation here at Wheelersburg. So when you talk about the community, the foundation that Ed Miller and Dart Miller brought, the fire I often talk about, or the spark that they lit, the torch that they lit, they brought that spark and that energy, and it just is raged into an inferno that I like to often talk about and reference how I'm just trying to carry on that torch. I'm trying to keep that fire each and every year. I'm excited. I'm excited to
I'm excited just listening to you talk about it, man. I'm ready to
I changed seat positions like 4 times.
Yeah, I'm getting like goosebumps because it's like it's insane. Because I mean, if you ever go, like, I ever only got to experience Wheelersburg games by pretty much going to watch you in the playoffs, and it's like you see one side and they got like some fans, and then you see the other side, and it's like the Super Bowl every single time, and it's just amazing to watch. And like you've been talking about, you got to have a long career there, and I wouldn't say like a resilient career, almost like a movie, because you sniffed, winning that title in 2015. It wasn't just ran the table, but it's not like you just did it in one season. I mean, looking back, you were so close, so many years in a row. and just falling short, and then finally like winning that title. Can you kind of take us through those years of, climbing the mountain to get there, and then what it felt like to finally get there and hold that trophy?
Well, yeah, that was something that 1989 they won their first state championship, and they've always been right there at that high level throughout. So when I came in 2008, we were making it to the second round of the playoffs, and we just kept talking about, all right, what do we need to do? How do we take that next step? And I had somebody from my dad's farm, a guy that does a lot of work for us, build me a ladder, 15-rung ladder.
Yes, I was going to ask about this. I love the ladder.
And I put the ladder up in the locker room. We painted each and every opponent on those first 10 rungs, and then we painted each of the playoff games up there. And I placed it in the locker room, and I asked the guys before I placed it up there, how many games does it take to get the state championship? Nobody knew. Nobody had an idea. I'll be honest, prior to me coming to Wheelersburg and starting to study some of this stuff, I had no idea. I'd never even seen a playoff game, really, until I became here as an assistant coach in 2003.
Right.
2002, 2003. And that ladder started to give everybody a vision of, okay, here's where we need to take, here's the steps that we need to work on and to get ourselves up to the next level. 2013, we get knocked off by Bishop Hartley in one of the coldest games that I've ever coached in up at Nelsonville. 2014, we come back and play Hartley. I mean, we are battling to the end. We got stopped on a 4th down, 1 foot line at Chillicothe. But our guys, I still have in my basement the article that was framed for me from that game, and it was a loss. But it was, for me, the turning point in terms of we've arrived. Our guys finally understand what it takes to get to this level. 2015, we went undefeated in the regular season, went on and played Coldwater in the state semifinal, and lost to a very good Coldwater team. I mean, they beat the tar out of us. And to be honest, Chip Otten, I definitely respect him and have kind of followed him throughout my career to try to learn from all the things that I can. 2016, we also went undefeated in the regular season, but got knocked off at Coshocton, and again, another cold game. And then ultimately 2017, we're undefeated in the regular season, but finish off that season with an undefeated season. And, not many teams want to end their season the way they want to, and we happen to be a part of one of those there in 2017. And 2018, we were back to semifinals, and then we've just been continuing to battle to try to work to stay up at that high level, and our guys are working each and every year to try to get there.
I mean, I love the ladder. I mean, it's literally
Dude,
like,
I saw it. I thought it was so. It says reach
it,
higher on it,
yeah,
doesn't it?
I mean, you have to, it's like visualizing.
Yeah.
Like, you got to see what you want to achieve. Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, no, I want to go win it. Like, you have to put in the work as well. But like,
It's
when
a
you can
constant
visualize
reminder.
what's going to happen, like what's it going to feel like when you win that game? What's the smell going to be like? What's everything going to look like? It's man, I cannot get
Isn't
more
there a
behind
clock
that.
ticking on the wall right now somewhere to the first game?
Yep, there's a countdown clock that's ticking down to that next game.
Yeah.
That next game, that first game happens to be the first game, but the next game. And that's a mindset that our guys just work for. Hey, when we get an opportunity, I talk about respecting the game all the time to our kids. Respect the game. Give the game the respect it deserves. And recognize that every opportunity you have to go out, you're representing your family, you're representing your community, you're representing a brotherhood out here that, that's what we're working for each and every day. And that countdown clock is leading to your next opportunity to get out and showcase all the work that you put in.
Sometimes we need a little pep in our step. And when you see that clock ticking down, you're like, that used to say 300 on it. Now you're like, I got to hit the gym.
Coach, I want to talk about your next game, that first game of the season that's been pretty much every single year for you. You guys in Ironton have become like the week one showcase like every single year. I feel like, you guys never have an easy non-conference schedule, and then you get in a conference and you don't have an easy conference either. I'm guessing that's a strategy for you of saying like, hey, we want to play the best of the best, so when we get to the playoffs, we're ready. If I'm not wrong.
You're right. I'm all the time trying to look at ways to put our kids in challenging situations. We don't grow unless we get out of our comfort zone. We don't grow as coaching staff. We don't grow as players. We don't grow as a community or a school district in expectations if we continue to just ride on just being consistent and being comfortable. So we're all the time trying to push and work to make ourselves better. And you look back at that 15, 16, 17, and I mentioned we had some undefeated regular seasons there, but we've had to always look to schedule games, schedule opponents that give us a challenge. That week one is definitely a challenge. But we can't rest everything on that game. We've got to understand that we've got 9 more in that regular season, and ultimately, our number one goal each and every year is to win the SOC, and we want to strive to be conference champs. And then, of course, with the expansion of the playoffs, we want to try to earn those 2 home playoff games. Of course, 1 home playoff game is what it used to be all the time that you had. Now you've got an opportunity for 2, so that kind of setting that bar higher. We want to try to get ourselves the type of points to set us up for those 2 home playoff games, and then ultimately that end goal of a state championship. But what kind of steps do we need to take along the way to get ourselves to that point? What kind of decisions do we have to make? And again, challenging our coaches, getting us to always look and evaluate and better ourselves, and our kids to look at and better themselves is what the ultimate goal to try to do, because it's a growth process. And as long as we understand the development, we want to be better when we finished than when we started, and continue to work with that with a new group of guys each and every year. And that's just kind of the mindset that we attack it with.
Coach, I know Tony has a question here for you.
I guess I'll piggyback. A quick question. Are you a fan of the expansion of the state playoffs?
I think we could get personally. I think we could get by with some of the things that they talked about with 12 teams, or 16. Of course, last year you had 16 beaten 1 in at least one of the divisions. I know in our region we had 15 Portsmouth that knocked off a number 2 Fairland last year, and then we ultimately played them. So when you're giving kids those opportunities, I don't see them taking anything back. But hey, it's playing the game of football. Right. I mean, I love the game of football. I love to see communities play the game of football. And if you're inspiring more communities to play the game of football, it was not too long ago that everybody was talking it down, crazy. And I love to see it back on that roar and working towards, because we've gotten so much smarter with how we coach. I think we're doing things a lot more efficient, a lot better. The things that we're teaching are improving the game. And we still got kids going out and competing. So when you talk about, do you like seeing more high school football games played? I do. I really do.
We do too.
I like to be in that upper echelon. I like to be in that upper echelon of those playoff teams for sure. But I just love seeing the game of football continue to be recognized and pushed at the level that it is.
And then I'm a firm believer that pressure makes diamonds. And you say you want to challenge these kids and things like that. There's a couple different things, whether it's like going for 2 for the win against Jackson a couple years back, and even just hearing you say you went for like a 4th and 1 in the state playoffs. Is that something you're going to keep up with? Is that the pressure situations you're talking about? I know you're challenging them every day. Is that more of like a belief in your players? Do you feel like it's like let's do this thing?
Let's go get that dope.
Yeah.
Well, we work way too hard to give up opportunities that are laid there that are in front of us. I mean, and not to say that it's laid there. We've earned a chance to get to that opportunity. We've earned and we got a big sign in our locker room that says, "Here you get what you earn when you earn it." So we've got to develop those things, and we've got to develop the things that. And when you start to recognize that momentum, or that how hard kids have worked, you got to make sure that you go out and take advantage of an opportunity when it's there, because it may not be there again for you. So we take chances. You ever watch this on special teams? We recognize that as a big opportunity play at different times, and we look to take advantage of that. We look to take advantage of 4th downs when it's in a situation. Has it burned us at times? Sure. That's something that, and I mean, I don't want to say that I'm a super risky coach. I'm sometimes a little more conservative.
Both of those plays are trusting your team. I don't think those are just like, you're on the 50-yard line.
Exactly.
Like Doug Peterson from the Eagles a couple years ago. It's like that dude was just send it. But that
Well,
being
you
said,
can't-
even
you
a quote
can't
from one of your
practice-
players I saw was Kenyon said, "We're working for everything that we have," and that's why he was saying that nobody else understands the way they are. They're like, "Yes, we're new. We're coming up here. We're going to be newer players. You might not know our faces, but it's like we work for everything that we have to get to this point. I'm not worried if anybody else needs to know who we are."
Especially whenever they're
Right.
setting greatness in front of them for years and years and
Exactly.
years. Like, now, Coach, I wanted to ask you. I mean, listening to you talk about football has been some of the most fun I've had on this show. I mean, it's literally like it gets my blood pumping, it gets my
And
juices
after
going.
20 years, like, way to
Yeah.
keep the fire going. You're saying you're looking ways
I
to
want
do
to know,
it, but I'm over
what-
here with goosebumps.
What's been your football journey? What has got you from point A to now you are sitting here in royalty pretty much 162. I cannot say this enough. 162 wins as a football
I think
coach.
you have
What's your
9
football
SOC
journey?
championships. That's more than
9.
half of your seasons.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Well, just to mention about the energy that you said you had, I had 92 first through fourth graders yesterday and today that I was on the field for 2.5 hours worth. You talk about energy. I had to make sure that I had the energy for those
He
guys.
said I had it pumping up.
That was fun. That was fun this morning. And, you know, we've got another 50 Pee Wee players, 5th and 6th grade, that
Hell
are
yeah.
going in the morning. We got right at
Is your
about
Pee Wee
45
football
junior
tackle?
high
I know that's
guys.
a weird question. Sorry to cut you
Sorry?
off. Is your Pee Wee football tackle football?
It is at 5th and 6th grade. We do not tackle below 5th grade. We have a
Hell yeah.
3rd and 4th grade flag that we kind of orchestrate and conduct, but we do 5th and 6th grade tackle, and it's
Okay.
all in house. We
Yeah, I've seen
don't
the-
travel outside.
I've
We
seen more
don't.
and
We
more.
have 4 quarterbacks. We have 8 guards. We have 4 centers. We have 8 tackles. You know, we have multiple teams that have players on it. We're trying to develop as many kids as we can throughout that
love it.
program.
That's why-
and
that's
that's
why you
something
do
again
that.
that was instilled long before I came.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just trying to keep that going. But now my football journey, I started in 5th grade back in Gallipolis, playing in the youth league. Moved on to 7th and 8th grade junior high football, where I met one of the coaches, Bill Walmsley, who was actually a high school athletic director for years, but really started to love his discipline of the game and the things that he brought to the game. And then went on throughout high school. There at Gay Academy, went on to Ohio Wesleyan, where I played outside linebacker, and started to really learn how you could study the games, learn how to watch film, learn how to focus on the individual aspects of the game. I was part of special teams. I was a long snapper for 3 years at Ohio Wesleyan, so I learned some of those parts of the game.
You play linebacker
Went-
up there
went
a little
back
bit,
to-
too, right?
Went back to Gallipolis for a year, and then, as I mentioned, I was kind of looking, thinking maybe I wanted to pursue this college route. Ultimately, ended up down here at Wheelersburg back in 2003, 5 years as an assistant under Tony Lewis, and I was applying for jobs all over the state of Ohio. I mean, I was clear up Holmes County applying for jobs, Cincinnati, different places here in southeastern Ohio, just trying to get an interview, so in case I ever had that job that I really wanted, I'd get an opportunity. And lo and behold, I got a shot here at Wheelersburg, and so thankful they took a chance on me, a young guy with no experience, and I was able to keep the staff together that we had, that Tony had kind of put together over those 6 years that he was here, and we've just been working each and every day since. And I grew up a tobacco farmer, and grew up on a 200-acre farm, so learned how to work hard back in those days, and that's what I apply each and every day. I talk to them all the time about farmers are your strongest guys out there, construction workers, guys that are working every day consistently with their hands, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to consistently work every single day and build and harden and develop the things, so those simple things can lead for us to be able to take on the hard things.
Get the lunch pails out, baby.
Yeah, you can definitely see all that in your guys' play, too. I think that's why you guys are a ground and pound football team, because you're like, hey, we're getting your face. And we're not afraid to hit and shit. Man, that's awesome. We're glad that you're down at Wheelersburg, and we're loving to see the success that you guys are having down there, and excited to be on the journey this year. We got a couple more questions before we get you out of here. These are the real hard journalism questions. I mean, probably going to be real deep cut. First off, we got to ask you, if you're going to a tailgate and it's time to eat it's Ohio State Saturday. What are you getting on your plate as like a main course, 2 sides, and a drink?
Well, I tell you, you ask any of my students in class. I taught science here in the last 22 years. I've moved into an administrative position this year, but teaching science, my favorite food's a potato.
Hell yeah.
I don't care how you fix a potato, French fried, twice baked potato, however you fix a potato. I love potatoes, and that's going to be one of the first things I'm going after. If you've got some kind of potato casserole, I'm going to be eating that. But then I just can't pass up a burger.
Nice.
Raised on a cattle farm, I can't pass up any kind of burger. Now I love brisket, and I love a New York strip steak. I love any kind of beef, but just a good juicy hamburger with cheese.
Something American about it.
Load that thing up, and better give me 2 or 3 of them, and then some good potatoes go with it, and I'm good.
I'm glad you said 2 or 3 of them because the first one's just like, all right, this is like to warm up the belly for the next 2 that I'm about
You
to
eat that before
absolutely
the
have.
sides, then you eat your sides. You got to go back for the,
it's like
the
I
main
eat a
course
burger,
again. You said who ate this
dabble
burger?
the sides, eat another burger, dabble the sides.
What are you
love
washing it down with?
Well, I'm washing it down with good sweet tea.
Good sweet tea.
I'll take
all
a good sweet tea.
Underrated drink.
Good sweet tea.
Yeah.
Half and half, maybe. I'm
There you
I'm
go.
Cut
I
out
like
a
the
little
half
bit of
and
that
half.
sugar.
No,
I got like a little half and half.
All right, next real important question. We're going to do a start bench cut. It's going to be, I guess you already answered this. Burgers, pizza, and tacos. I imagine you're going to be starting your burgers. What are you going to be doing with that?
What am I going to be doing with the burger? Say it again, the question.
So it's a start bench cut. You either get a start,
That's your
a.k.a.
favorite.
keep forever, your favorite. Bench, a.k.a. have it every now and then. And then cut, you can
okay.
never have it again. Burgers, pizza, tacos.
I'm going to eat the burgers first. The tacos are going to be benched, and then pizzas I could eat forever.
He was like quick with that. He goes, burger.
Wait, did you say pizza you could eat forever?
Yeah,
No,
I could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well,
I
Coach,
I can as well. I will eat till I throw up. My sister still makes a joke that when we go over there with the kids, it's like, gotta
Dude,
order an extra piece. And I'm
pizza
like,
is
it's too easy of a
Pizza.
chew. It's almost like a potato
Yes.
chip at some points.
dude,
You know what I mean?
literally
Jeez.
at one point when I was in the Navy had pizza every single day, twice.
And it's plausible. Tell me you tried to do that with grilled
especially
chicken or
because like
something.
Little Caesars with those $5
Listen, I
pizzas,
got
man,
four-
balling on a budget.
I got 4 kids. So that's the only thing that everybody will eat.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Dude, and that's why they come
always
to
an
my house,
option.
pizza.
My favorite-
And we share coupons, too. It's be like,
Yeah.
hey, we're coming over on Saturday. And they'll be like, I got this Domino's coupon. Oh, hell yeah, send it over.
All right,
And
you
it's
get
like-
the Domino's, I'll get Papa John's. It's like a mix of that. Well, hey, Coach, thank you so much for coming on, and we're really excited to see how you and the Wheelersburg Pirates are attacking the season this year.
Hey, I appreciate it. Come out and watch us. We always say Friday night's greatest show on turf. Love
Hell
to see you guys come out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary
Bird.
2017 state champion, Rob Woodward. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you.
Dude, that guy brings the energy.
He really does.
Dude, I
He
had
really
the
does.
question about the fire. He said fire 6 times before I could ask the question about how do you keep the fire after 20
Yeah.
years. It's like, he's just like, fire. I'm keeping the fire. We're keeping the fire. I'm like, damn, yeah, he's got
that's
it.
how you keep the
I don't
fire.
need to answer the question anymore. He just does it.
I like, too, because, like, I was, like, trying to figure out, I'm like, I want to ask him about the ladder, but I don't know really how to bring it up. And then he started talking into it, and we were like, thank you. You helped us on that one.
It's just sick, you know. The thing that I kind of wanted to talk to him about, and obviously, you know, we live it, but is, yes, they graduated some All-Ohio players, but, like, coming into this year, there's going to be a lot of a different style, a different face, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like coming into that game, Ironton, they're coming in knowing what they are, and you might think of that as an advantage, but sometimes not knowing what you're up against
How many
can kinda
teams-
help you sleep.
Do you hear this? Like, yeah, we got 14 seniors, and then you're like, oh, that's a lot. And then he's like, 20 in every other class.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
I
but
was
like,
like,
oh, so
45 kids
he
in
had,
my
like,
class.
so it's like, oh, damn, like you guys aren't really. You guys will just have the same. You'll have at least 14 freshmen
That's
next
why
year.
he
To
was
like,
yeah,
reload.
we keep it in house. We have like 6 teams because we have 6
Yeah,
guards.
that's what I was
6
trying to
centers.
say. Is like,
you see a lot of people trying to keep it in house like Paint Valley, but they don't have the people to do it. So now they have to play other stuff.
You ever hear about like when like Luka Doncic and them overseas like went to like a basketball academy? Like that's what Wheelersburg is for football. Yeah. Like you basically
the quarterback literally
academy.
said that I grew up watching Wheelersburg football. I always wanted to play on Friday night. It's like him getting told that he was going to be a starter last year.
Them and Ironton are like Ohio's like Friday Night Lights almost. I feel like just like.
I think they have a really
That's just such a
good
huge
chance.
rivalry.
You look at Ironton, which we could probably talk about.
And they're not even in conference. It's like a Union to Vinton.
I don't even think the teams themselves. Like
now,
I'm sure
I
the
think
players
they
do,
used
but
to
like
be in conference because there used to be a time where like think of this conference. There used to be a time when it was Jackson, Chillicothe, Ironton, Wheelersburg, and like I want to say McLean, but I'm not 100% sure. But like that's a stacked.
One of those is not like the other.
In 2008.
I mean, in basketball maybe, but I feel like in football it's
in
just.
2008, Chillicothe went to like the second round of the playoffs.
I was talking about McLean.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure of that.
Yeah, I said that's the one that's not like the other.
I think it might have been Warren or something like that.
That kind of makes sense because I've played Warren a few times.
It was like
They're
a
D2
legendary conference, and then they.
But like that's the thing, he didn't even really. He was just like, yes, the next game. Like I don't even think it's that big of a rivalry for like the staff maybe or the players. It's just the community are like, oh, I hate them.
Yeah,
I hate them.
They think they could be black or orange. We're the black
it's like
and orange.
Like a Portsmouth and Portsmouth West. Like the communities, the players, the staff, they all hate each other in that rivalry. I feel like, but like this is like we're good, they're good. We're just playing because like
good.
So that way we can try to beat them. Yeah, the fans are like, no, it used to be fuck 'em, and it's still fuck 'em for us.
They play Jackson too, don't they? In the first
Wheelersburg, I know Ironton does. Wheelersburg, I don't like. They played Jackson.
I'll say this, Jackson. They don't a lot of times like to play too hard of
Jackson
out of
has
schedule.
been their kryptonite though. They've beaten the last 4 years in a row.
That's what I was.
So that's kind of like a. But if you look at it, like they've been maybe having like 4, maybe 3 losses, 4 losses the past couple of years, and then
Ironton?
still make Wheelersburg.
Oh, Wheelersburg,
and still making a deep playoff run. Ironton is just a well-oiled machine. They maybe lose 1 regular season game a year.
I think in the playoff picture though, overall, is it
Waverly
usually
this year,
Ironton
too?
better?
They're in Waverly's conference.
What's
Are you
that
talking about
called?
Wheelersburg or Ironton?
Wheelersburg.
Wheelersburg is in Waverly's conference.
What's that called?
The SOC. I don't know if that's 1 or 2 though, because there's 2 of them. One of them doesn't have football.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah,
Which
I'm still learning the.
I was going to say it's kind of stupid to have 2, but then there's the TVC. But they're smart. They got the TVC Ohio and the TVC Hawking.
Yeah, named them.
Yeah, which actually it's basically like having a 2. It's like one conference with 2 divisions, which I love. If they would actually just play each other a little bit more.
This division makes way more sense to me now. A lot of the kids from PT school, they like one was from Minford, one was from Wheelersburg. They talk crap.
Yeah.
Is Minford in all that too?
Yes, Minford is in there. I think Oak Hill is as well. With Portsmouth West being there too. I mean, it's a very, very hard conference football-wise. But the problem is Wheelersburg is Wheelersburg. But I'm excited to talk with Waverly's head coach because Waverly and Wheelersburg have been at the top most of the years. Portsmouth West had an unbelievable season last year. Wondering if they can keep that going this year or if they're a one-hit wonder.
Waverly and Wheelersburg are kind of similar in the fact that like
what is it with orange and black teams just having
they're
huge
all
rivalries?
around players like even with Wheelersburg like they're in the past 2 interviews I watched them, they were like, oh, do you ground and pound? Do you do this? And every time he's just sitting there like, we are all around athletes. We preach
play
to these
football.
boys that we do everything well.
Vinton County's second biggest rival is Maroon. I'm pretty sure Meg's is like our second biggest.
Man.
So we just hate them because they have
It
maroon
has
and yellow.
to be because of the sharing of the colors.
Yeah, it's
You're
like,
just
we're
hate
better
'em.
than you.
Hate them.
Kind of like the Browns and the Bengals, both orange.
Yeah, but one's brown.
The Browns are poor.
Hey.
I don't see a whole lot of brown on that sign over there. I see a black sign, and
That's
it says
brown. It just looks black.
and it's
from
all
long
Yeah,
orange.
I
way.
think he's right. I think it's a dark brown.
it looks like it's being
At
colored
first,
brown.
when I
sign.
was saying it, I actually almost took back my words. I was like, it's brown. Yeah.
It says Browns.
All
on
right,
it.
let's get
it
on
says
to
Browns.
our next segment. Let's get into what everybody's been waiting for. Those top 5 running backs. Tony, you are excited for this week's show. I'm going to let you get your list out here first.
Get her here. All right. I think Do you want me to do Do you want to?
Go 5-1.
But we did honorable mentions and stuff. Do you want to wait till later?
Yeah, we'll all do honorable mentions after we all three of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start with Braylon Robertson. There's no reason why you can't go with that again. 1,900 yards, 28 TDs, led the league in most yards per carry. That would be 8.5. That's literally insane. I think that they're potentially going to have a better offensive line just due to injuries last year. Better quarterback. Everybody's ready to play. I see no reason why he can't keep that up and the other receivers still get theirs. Number 2, I think I'm going to go real crazy with this one and just take the Jevin Hochstuhl guy.
Oh, yeah, from Hillsborough.
He had 11 touchdowns last year anyways. He's from Jackson.
Jevin Hochstuhl.
Oh, wait. So he's the Waverly kid. I apologize.
No, he's Hillsborough.
Yeah,
No, Jevin
Hochstuhl.
Yeah, Jevin Hochstuhl, he's from Hillsborough.
He's Hillsborough. I had him. Did I have him on my team last year?
I don't know who had him on.
Did I look at the list wrong?
Yeah, you might have. But, yeah, he was
No,
a
but
stud.
he should
You
be on
have
the list.
stats
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you have his stats right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I won't put him 2. I'll put him in my honorable mentions. Next, I'll go Joey Wright. The reason I think that is I think he gets way more touchdowns this year. He was pretty much second or third in every stat below Robertson. I think he's going to get his touches. I wanted to put Buddy Wilson there, but again, I got a weird feeling about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without Bryce Wickline there, without Trent Walters, I think it stays a lot closer to home. I think he gets a hell of a lot of touches.
I
Next
haven't
up,
heard a whole lot about that Piketon team either.
Huh?
So I haven't heard a whole lot about that Piketon team either.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta be. You have to be leery of Golian too, because he's going to steal a lot of.
I've said forever. He gets
he's gonna
so many
steal
goal
a lot
line
of your
touches.
goal line touches.
The one thing that saves Buddy Wilson, and I wonder if, I think if they're pretty smart, they would do it again this year, is I saw a lot of good receptions from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of that can come. He had 4 receiving touchdowns. One of them we were there for. And actually, one of them was like a 70-yarder that got stopped at the 2-yard line. I really feel like if they can get it to the outside and some of these corners have to try to tackle him, that's a match made in heaven for them. So I think he does really, really well as well. Something about Joey Wright to me just sticks out. I had a feeling this year that it might not be the people that we thought it was going to be. Next, the reason why I mentioned Jackson is Nolan Johnson.
Joey popped off last year.
Nolan Johnson.
He was super solid, but I mean, when you're looking at a dude like Braylon Robinson who has 1,900 yards, and then you see Joey Wright and he has 966.
Yeah.
He was.
you know what I mean?
If
There's
we're
still-
doing the fantasy bust thing to where it's below 17, I don't think he busts, but once
Which
or
I want
twice.
to do.
Absolutely.
He was like a
next week,
stud for me.
I guess I'll put a little egg here for everybody. I want to do a bust or not kind of thing. We'll just pick a player and be like, hey,
I got you.
something like that. We'll workshop that.
But
anyways, keep going.
Nolan Johnson from Jackson.
Yeah.
He had 1,000 yards, 14 TDs. I don't think those 14
he did that
TDs.
last year with Wolford there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's gone. Now, I think they're still going to be doing a dual back set, but I can't imagine Johnson.
If the dual other guy is getting 1,014.
Yeah, that's what
I'll
I'm saying.
take
I can't imagine what Johnson's going to get being the first stringer on that. So,
and then how many is that? 1, 2, 3. That's 5. If
All
I
right,
keep,
so-
Hochstuhl goes down, then I'll take Silas Stewart from Zane Trace.
yeah.
Reason being, again, I like where there's
It makes
gaps.
so much more sense for him to go to the running back. I think he won't be. I don't think he'll be a Blake Phillips, but he will be esque of that.
But I like the touches. So if you have all these juniors coming up and now they're seniors, they were used to Blake Phillips last year. You're still going to have a lot of touches for him, and even if they're different, because he either led or was pretty dang close to the top in terms of yards per catch.
Yeah.
And it's like you get him as a receiving back, you get some of those things going on. I really feel like it's a match made in heaven.
And I think too, it can help with Gunna the Stunner kind of be a little more comfortable back there. Whenever you have that running back, so like whenever I was in high school and he had Anthony and Teagan, their cousins, they've grown up together. It's a little bit more comfortable when you can look at the other one as like a leaner of like if if Teagan comes out and he's on the left side, he needs to be on the right side. Anthony having that confidence to be like, hey, come over here. And the same with if Anthony. I mean, everybody has a brain fart now and then. Teagan look at him like, hey, no, man, we're gonna go over here. And I feel like that's what something Silas Stewart can do.
I think with a lot of these pass plays, too, it's going to be really nice to have a dump-off person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have this guy kind of popping out to the side and you feel like it's quick, just turn and throw. Like, this guy has the ability to get yards after the catch. We're talking about him like he's a receiver, but that's what I'm saying more of. He's going to get the ones up the middle. I know he can run. That's how – you don't get a heavy, yard per reception without having great footwork. That'll translate. I guarantee you'll probably put a little bit of weight on, make sure he's good to go. He's got a great family. I know he'll be doing the right thing, so I think he'll round out my top.
All right, so give us your list one more time real quick.
Okay. So we got Braylon Robertson, Joey Wright, Buddy Wilson, Nolan Johnson, and Silas Stewart.
Nice. That's a good list. I had a few of those on mine here. Adam, do you want me to go second, or do you want to go second?
I'll go second.
You can say, all right, Adam, give us your top 5. Let's go from 5 to 1.
Yeah, so in the 5 spot, I got Hayborn. I got Lane Hayborn. Or it's Hayburn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because it's Vinton County, yeah. So he was the number 2 spot to Garrett Brown last year, who was a 1,000-yard rusher, who was one of our better running backs. So
yeah,
I think Hayborn was
Nolan Johnson situation where he's the number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. So plus he's a speedster, whereas Brown was more of a power back. So he's going to catch. He catches a lot of passes out of the backfield too. I think he was our number 1 or number 2 running back 2. So for him to be in that running back 1 spot now, I think he's at least deserves a 5 spot.
Yeah.
Number 4, I had Joey Wright, just because I had him last year on my team. He was a dog for me last year. I feel like he's going to be a dog for somebody this year.
And I think with a couple pieces leaving, they could be leaning on him a lot more. Yeah. Maybe passes out of the game. Which, again, when you're going running back, you want to look for somebody like a Christian McCaffrey where you can steal those catches out of the backfield.
Yeah. And then number 3, I had Nolan Johnson on my team a lot last year. He was kind of like a Nick Chubb situation for me, to where he was just on the bench. I think he just really slowly but surely popped off. He didn't do a whole lot of scoring, but he'd get just a lot of yards.
4 games of the year, he was
Teddy.
fire.
Number 3 spot, I got Nate Dretzler.
Yeah.
So with Dretzler, he didn't do exactly what we thought he was going to do last year. I thought he was going to be, because he's built just like Braylon, if I'm remembering correctly. So he's like a 3-4 yards in a cloud of It's going to take 3-4 people to bring him down, and he's going to be in a cloud of dust doing it. Yeah. And over there at Adena, I don't know if they're doing a lot of stuff right, but I know they're changing the system to a more running style system. So that the scheme's going to work for them.
Situation would probably force their hand on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they should have been doing it last year because the Dressler was just supposed to be. I thought he was going to be all that in a bag of chips with it. I'll be honest with you.
I think Drexler too can be what opens up Joey Francis so much because
if they had the same quarterback, if they were given more than 1 year,
if they gave him more, if he would have given him more time,
just one more year, I feel like that Adena team could have been something pretty decent.
Because I feel like it's going to be a Sean Terry situation with Joey Francis because of Nate Drexler, where he might get 3 or 4 catches a game, right? But those 3 or 4 catches are for 20, 30 yards apiece with probably a touchdown.
Yeah.
So.
And then number 1, Braylon Robertson.
Yeah.
So 5, Hayborn, Lane Hayborn, 4, Joe Wright, 3, Nolan Johnson, 2, Nate Dretzler, and then 1, Braylon Robinson.
Yeah. It's
Buddy Wilson.
Buddy Wilson, man. Too many question marks out there for me.
Yeah, Piketon is just too many question marks.
When it comes to Piketon. Yeah. Yeah, I think Buddy Wilson's going to have a great year this year. I just don't think, with Zane Brownfield not being there to carry a little bit of the load, like give him a break here and there. They lost a lot.
I think the biggest thing more than that is just the goal line carries from goalie, which is not knocking them. I just think that they have. It's going to be probably option, and then you're going to stack the box on Buddy, and it's going to be easier for him to just pull it and run outside.
Buddy's touchdowns last year were big runs, but on the same time, if you can bank on 1 or 2 of those a game, that's going to be a lot of fantasy points. It's just, do you want to take that risk?
Buddy does play safety though, doesn't he?
Linebacker.
Okay. Yeah. I thought Buddy was a safety, whereas Zane was like a linebacker. Because I thought Buddy got a couple picks too.
He might have, but he's a linebacker.
So I'll go with mine. Number 5, I'll go with Joey Wright. I put him there because I whiffed big time on him last year. Literally gave him no credit. Didn't see him coming out at all. I think you got him as a steal, and then he just blew up. So I'm definitely not doing that this year. I'm going to put him at number 5, just because I want to see what that Westfall offense looks like. I think it could be a good offense. I think they're expecting big passing yards again, but I think that, Joey Wright can be a big thing on that. Number 4, I'm going to go Zane Williams. Last year he had a pretty good year, over 600 yards, quite a few touchdowns.
Who's he play for?
I said Zane Williams. He's going to be from let me double check here. I'm pretty sure he's from Ironton. Yeah. Last year he had 684 rushing yards with 10 touchdowns. And he had, listen to this, he had 5 catches last year for 34 yards and 4 touchdowns. So there's only one time he caught the ball they didn't get a touchdown. So I think that's going to be big, high upside on the running back side. Number 3, I went with, same as you, Tony, Jevin Hotchkiss. I think last year as the running back 2, he could have been anybody's running back 1 fantasy-wise. So I can't see – I know they're going to have a 3-headed monster out there again, but I just can't see him not getting a heavy
it was another Nolan Johnson situation where he was like the backup. And
I love watching – even if it's 15 seconds, watch the film.
Yeah, the only difference between him and Johnson last year was that, like, Jackson threw the ball a little bit where Hillsborough's like 2 passes, done.
Yeah.
Bam.
They did not they did not pass
and
that
the thing is, it's not on Mason Dumper's part. I mean, he's a great throwing quarterback, but when you have that in the backfield, what are you doing? And then number 2, Nate Dreitzler, solely because of opportunity. I think they're going to be leaning on him a lot to carry that offense.
Scheme change.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a lot of handoffs. Now, the only thing –
hell, let him throw the damn ball.
The only thing that's going to be him not getting up to that number 2 is if they try and do split back like they did last year. But I think this year they're kind of like, unless he's asking to come out, let's leave him in there. And then number 1, Braylon Robertson, he's a stud. I mean, 1,800 yards last year, 28
I thought it was
touchdowns.
19.
He was at 1850, so he's like right there at 19, 28 touchdowns, and this isn't even including all the catches out of the backfield.
I think that's a couple more touchdowns than a few of the teams in the SVC.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
And then he had at least 2 or 3 receiving touchdowns as well, so he's over 30 touchdowns. I just don't think you can go wrong with him, especially with that high-powered offense. Honorable mention, Tony. I know you had some.
Did he not score 12 touchdowns in a game, or was it 7?
Oh, he scored. I know he scored 7 in one.
Yeah, because I know it was like something crazy. It was like
yeah. I know. Maybe it's 6. It was like 6 or 7, but it was insane.
Nate's my honorable mention, and then Aiden Rocky Jones for Washington Courthouse.
Aiden Rocky Jones is one that
I thought he was a receiver.
So
he could be an everything guy.
Yeah. I didn't put my wide receiver or my running back, but
he was the guy that was labeled as just a flex last year. It was like you could play him whatever. If you want to play him in running back, you can. You want to play him receiver, you can. If you want to play him in flex, you can.
When you have 800 yards, 815 yards rushing, and 700 some yards receiving.
Yeah. We will cut this. We will cut this specifically like. Aiden Rocky Jones, like you are number 1 flex.
He is flex.
Flex. The definition of flex. Like flex on him.
Dude, come up with like a touchdown dance that incorporates the flex because you are the flex.
Yes, and send it to
That's his nickname.
I do
Aiden
say,
Rocky the Flex Jones.
Sean Smith was one of my honorable mentions from Chillicothe. It's just, he got hurt last year, didn't finish the season. Now, I know he's fully recovered, but I just want to see more out of him.
The schedule's still crazy.
Yeah, Bloom Carroll week 1, that's insane. Then I didn't go with a Waverly running back just because, losing Jace Hurd last year, he's an absolute stud, and I'm not 100% sure, what that running back situation is looking like going into this year, especially with Kelly being an absolute stud. I didn't want to take a shot in the dark on that one, but instead of taking a shot in the dark, we'll just ask the guy that had 68 wins in 10 years with 7 winning seasons. He's had 7 winning seasons in 10 years. Many, many playoff victories. The one, the only, Coach Crabtree.
How we doing, guys?
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Coach, I want to ask you, so we're doing, we got a fantasy football league for the local high school teams here. We want to kind of ask you, because we're just talking, we're talking our top 5 running backs, and I would be lying if I said, last year Jace Hurd was a league winner. You know, he was great. We didn't really know who we could expect to see fill that role this year for you guys. So who are some of your guys' running backs that you're looking at?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously Jace, big part of our offense, and he'll be hard to replace. But yeah, it's going to probably take a few guys. In all reality, we don't really have someone that has a lot of varsity experience, and really not a lot of JV experience at that running back position. But we have 2 or 3 guys. Hunter Houck, I think, will be a kid that can fill that role a little bit. He's going to be a senior this year. Dylan Leaf is another kid that will both play that role. Then Cade Carroll, he's played some slot for us, played DB for us last year. He does have some varsity experience football wise. I mean, all those guys have some varsity experience, but Cade's probably the closest to having the more of the offensive touches. So really, I think a combination of multiple guys. Just trying to get them in certain situations. I think that's how that's going to work.
Nice. Yeah, and I know you mentioned Cade Carroll there. I got to coach him for a brief time in AAU basketball. I know that kid's a really hard worker, so I can definitely see him trying to fill some of the shoes there. Now, Coach, I wanted to talk to you. We got a lot of questions about going into this season and everything like that, but I was doing some reading up on you, and you were an assistant coach for quite a while at Waverly before you became the head coach. I just kind of want to ask you, what was that journey like? Every year kind of going in and out with, same thing every single year, and then, the head coaching job's open, and they finally come to you, and they give you the keys to the castle. Can you kind of just talk about the experience from assistant all the way to head coach, and then now just taking off into the powerhouse you guys are?
Sure. It's hard to believe this is this will be my 30th year teaching. It'll be my 31st year coaching.
Oh, congratulations.
So I was fortunate. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to, as a young kid graduating from college, to be able to student teach. I student taught at Waverly. And then when Ed Bolin was here, which I played for him, he allowed me to coach during that time period I was student teaching. And then fortunately a job came open, and I was able to, assist him my first couple years, and then I went and coached to junior high for a handful of years, and then whenever Derek DeWitt was hired, when Coach Bowen retired, came back up to the varsity, and then coached with him, then with Rusty Wright. Rusty, gave me an opportunity to be a defensive coordinator, and 2006 and 7 years, we made a nice little playoff run with Trevor Walls, and had some success there, and then the opportunity came for me to apply for the job. Again, to be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily looking to be the head coach at that time. I'd always been the strength guy and assistant, and I really enjoyed that. But lucky for me, they decided they would hire me, and we had a couple tough years. The first few years, I think we were like 3-7 the first couple of years, and then we went 5-5, and then kind of the magic group for me was that group that was my freshman group. By the time they were seniors, we ended up being 9-1, made the playoffs for the first time in a while, and from that point on, we made the playoffs every year, and we've made some noise a few years, and unfortunately the few years we've been kind of one and done, but. It's been an awesome journey for me, especially being able to play at Waverly, then come back and coach, and then, I got to coach my son, and so we've had it's been a good ride so far.
Yeah, and I want to kind of go back to a couple things you said that you guys popped off. So you did, like you said, you go 3-7 those first couple of years, and then. It's like a light switch popped on. I mean, you were winning 8 games, then 9 games. I think you had like 2 or 3 seasons in a row going 9-1. The buzz was in the air in Waverly. I mean, I was playing in the SEC over at Paint Valley at the time, and it was always kind of like, hey, did you hear what Waverly's doing? Hey, did you hear what Waverly's doing? And then, the one thing that I think I kind of am kicking myself in the butt here, not looking at your running backs, is I feel like you've been able to. You've had some really good quarterbacks and really good wide receivers, Mason Kelly, Cody Swords right now. But I mean, you had Peyton Shoemaker, then you have Jace Hurd. You've had a lot of great running backs. Now, I don't want to take anything away from them. They're all really great athletes. But that more of like your scheme? Are you guys kind of a ground and pound team? Or you're saying
Or is it the 16-week program that you put these boys through that adds 5 inches to a broad jump?
Exactly. Or are you just saying, hey, we're focusing on the run back. That's going to be our best position every year.
Well, you know, for years, and I still think people think of us this way. You know, we've kind of always been known for throwing the football, but you know, definitely we want to run the football. I think it's a combination, a little bit of both. We were just talking the other day. It's like, you know, at one point we had, you know, Tim Morrison, Will Futhy, and Phoenix Wolf. You know, those 3 guys all in the same program, and you know, I think those guys had 50, and then Mark Stolley was a part of that group.
Yeah,
you know, those guys had like 40, 50 touches at you know, receiver. But you know, I think a lot of it is that, you know, we're going to throw the football, but we're going to run the football. You know, we're going to try to stretch you side to side, and then we're going to try to stretch you vertically. You know, so, and again, you know, we have the capability of RPOs, and a lot of our plays are tagged both run or pass. So our quarterbacks have some decision to be able to, you know, whatever the box numbers are, whatever we see, you know, he has that opportunity to kind of pull it, or he can give it. So, you know, I you know, even though we've been a spread team and we play fast, and you know, we still want to be physical. We want to be physical in the run game. You know, I think you have to do that. And so, you know, obviously, when you have someone like Jace and the backs that we've had beforehand, you know, that definitely makes it nice for us to be able to you know, if they're going to take something away, you have something else to come back and lean on to.
Yeah, and then you also talk about your passing team. I mean, Cody Swords, Mason Pollard. I mean, it feel good. I mean, whenever we look at them, they're like, you know, what has to be one of the best 1-2 combos when it comes to wide receiver in the area. I mean, we were talking last year when we had in fantasy, it was a little frustrating because you have one blow up while the other one's like right in the middle, and then the other one blow up while the other one's in the middle. I mean, and it felt like they kind of fed off each other, you know. What's it been like getting to coach 2 players like that with an amazing quarterback in Mason Kelly? I mean, you don't just get over 2,000 yards thrown by accident. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is definitely nice to have that capability to, you know, to get the ball down the field. You know, again, Cody, you know, he's definitely one of those guys that can get open. He can make big plays. You know, Mason Pollard is kind of one of those guys that just he's a good route runner, kind of sneaks up on you a little bit. And, you know, he towards the end of the season there, he kind of really came on for us. And, you know, one of the things, you know, we're going to see this year, Mason Sparks, who played tight end for us this year, you know, he's got some length. He's a you know, 6'3", 6'4" kid. You know, we're going to move him outside this year. Okay. So he's going to give us another person, another target to be able to throw to. So that should, you know, definitely help Mason out as well.
Yeah, because I saw him, and I was kind of curious to see, you know, where he would kind of fall for you guys.
Yeah, he had some touches early on last year.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a little bit sporadic, and a lot of that's kind of just the way we scheme the tight ends, and we move him around a lot. And I think in all reality, with his length and, you know, he runs really, really well, I think, you know, he's going to be a nice mismatch for some people.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch. Now last year, you know, you guys went week 1 with Miami Trace in an absolutely thriller. Fell on the wrong end of that one, but then you came in 3 in a row with Zane Trace, an absolute legendary game at Uniota. I mean, that hook and ladder play had us. That hook and ladder play had us almost fainting, screaming on the sideline.
We almost broke the TV we were in front of.
Yeah, I mean, it was
going,
insane.
No.
That was a really fun game to watch. And then
I give
you guys,
Coach Knight credit for that.
Yeah,
so I give Coach one of my assistants for that.
Going into this the season, you know, where you have about the same non-league schedule as last year. Do you guys feel a little bit more comfortable where you have a little bit more identity with those teams? And 2, calling a hook and ladder. I mean, you got to have some.
Yes, I wanted to go back. Who did you thank for that, by the way?
To call that, like, how did you scheme that up? How did you know it's time? Like, hey.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, you know, it wasn't a secret because we had ran that. We've run it before.
Yeah, I think you ran against Miami Trace.
I think we actually ran it. We probably ran against Miami Trace the week before.
Yeah.
So they probably had an idea it was coming. But we basically ran it from it. We just basically formationed them differently. So it kind of we kind of think ran it to the short side of the field. And then Jace, he's the one that made that happen. I mean, obviously,
we were
it was a nice
inches
play.
away from that, by the way.
It had to be completed, but he basically refused to go down. And, it was just an awesome play, and it came at the right time for us.
And
it was
what
the
a
time
game
turner.
changer!
Yeah,
they scored 14 unanswered points. That's
You
going into
just
half-
heard the win because we were on the Union Yoda sideline, and this stuff like this is why we call the games on the field because it was electric to watch. And then all the air came out of one side and then onto the Waverly sideline. It was insane, which kind of brings me to another thing I want to talk about is that Waverly crowd. What is it like? I've went to a home playoff game a couple of times back.
I'm hearing cowbells.
Yeah, it was insane.
Very well traveled.
It was insane. What is it like to know you have that kind of fan base behind your back, and what does it mean to you? Kind of second part of that question to be the head guy at Waverly.
Well, like you said, the crowd is well traveled. We do have a lot of support from our community in many different areas, through funding and support fundraising, stuff like that. But yeah, our fans, they get fired up.
They do.
My wife is one of
they're
those.
fired up.
She
Passionate.
has the cowbell, and she has the cowbell as others. They're
Wait, who's the cowbell?
And I said, well, my wife is one of those people that has a cowbell.
This is
We need more cowbell, baby. We got a fever.
More
We need more cowbell.
More cowbell.
They get after it. But no, it's, again, very fortunate. Feel very lucky to have that support. Definitely our fans travel well, and they love football.
Now, we want to go to, because I feel like, Union is a big out-conference rivalry, but we have a big in-conference rivalry as well with Wheelersburg. And it's been really fun over the past, few years watching you guys. I feel like it's always you two at the top battling for that conference title. You know what I mean? I feel like, too, where you guys are playing, the past few years later in the season, that kind of ramps you up towards, the playoffs. You playing one good team to get ready for the other. What's it like, though, coaching in that Waverly-Wheelersburg rivalry? Sorry, I got a tongue twister there.
Well, again, our league in general, football-wise, is pretty tough. West has been really good the last couple of years, and the thing with Wheelersburg is that's unfortunately we've not won that game as much as we would like.
Yeah.
But even going back when I played, I was fortunate enough to beat them, at least once in my career. But they're just a really good program. I know you had Rob on earlier. A great guy. Have a lot of respect for him and with their program and with what they do. And you just know that you're going to have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, and because they're going to figure stuff out.
Now we had a question earlier. Do you guys all hate each other because you're all orange and black? Does that fall into the rivalry? Like,
color
hey,
thing.
we're fighting for these school colors. Like, we own them first.
Yeah.
That has to fall into it.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, it is. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're all orange and black. Actually, we tried to be gold and black at one point, but then we had to go back. But
And they're like, listen, Bay Valley's looking fly over there with that gold and black. We got to fall in line. No, I'm just kidding. Coach,
early 2000s, we were gold and black.
Coach, we got some deep journalism questions for you before we let you get out of here, if that's okay with you. First off, if you're going to a tailgate, let's say it's Saturday morning, Ohio State, Michigan, grill's going. What are you getting on that tailgate plate as your main course, 2 sides, and a drink?
Oh, I'm probably bratwurst.
Nice.
Baked beans, some macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna be
The
nice
baked beans,
here and
macaroni and
just
cheese combo.
Get a Sprite.
Underrated.
Yeah,
Now-
nice Sprite. I got one question. Is the bratwurst on a nice roll, not just a simple bun? You can't
Okay.
just put it on a bun. I want it on a nice piece of bread. But
Or
would you
also-
bun it, or are you eating it without it?
I probably break the mold because I'm gonna bun it and put a bunch of ketchup on it because I love ketchup.
Now, are you getting like a
Me too.
normal beer brat, or are you getting like a cheddar bacon, a jalapeno cheddar beer brat, or what did we get? kind of brat?
I'm pretty plain. I just like the regular beer broth.
Hey, you can't
Yep.
go wrong with it.
Yep.
Super delicious, super delicious. All right, number 2 question for you. Who are some of the people that you grew up either idolizing or modeling your coaching career after? Some of your favorite NFL players.
Favorite NFL players?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm a Cowboy fan. I've been forever.
Yeah, I guess
We
we'll
got
skip
Eagles.
this. We'll skip this question.
We got an Eagles fan over
That's
here.
not overly popular. But, Roger Staubach, Emmitt Smith, or Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith. Those are my guys that I was really.
Tony Dorsett
really
was always
followed.
cool to me. I hate all Dallas players,
Yeah.
but like he was always
Yeah.
one that my dad showed me that I was like, all right, I'm all right with this guy.
Now, coaches. Who's some of your favorite coaches?
Yeah.
Professional coaches.
I'm a professional. Well, Jimmy Johnson, I'm have to say, was one of my
That's-
all-time favorites.
That's my favorite Cowboy
and
coaches because I liked what
I'm
he did in Miami.
aggravated that basically they didn't get along and he had
Yeah.
to go. But probably college-wise, I'm a big fan of Dabo. We were able to go to some of their coaching clinics down there, and I think he's just a great motivator and genuine person. He's probably had
You
someone
don't get
that
your
I try
players
to model
saying
my
you're an
coaching
amazing
after.
coach for, I don't know, 12
Plus-
years,
Yeah.
unless you are.
And
You
then-
know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
recency
Also,
bias.
still got those that orange on there too, so that tracks.
Yeah. Hey, we stole everything from Clemson that doesn't say Clemson on it. So
And don't worry, Pay Valley did the same thing with Birmingham,
My-
Alabama.
My favorite thing
University.
about the stadium is when you're driving down 23, right?
35.
35, yeah. Driving down 35, when you're going through town, you just look over, you see those tiger eyes.
Yeah.
Those big old tiger eyes. What
Yeah.
is it, like on the concession stand, I want to say?
Yeah, and it feels like you're driving by like a Texas football stadium.
Yeah, it
Like,
does.
It gives off those vibes.
That's not 35, that's 23.
Is that 23?
it's 23.
Yeah, it is 23. You made me look like an idiot.
I'm not even from here.
I'm not even from here either. All right, Coach, we got one more question for you. You can keep one forever, or you have to get rid of the other two forever. Pizza, burgers, taco. Go.
Pizza. I'm gonna have pizza.
There we go.
Well,
It's
Good one.
Pizza.
Solid
There you
pick.
go. We redeemed the
Pizza.
Cowboys.
Golf clap.
Coach, thank you so much for coming on with us today. It was a pleasure to get to know you a little bit more. We're excited to watch these Waverly Tigers, man. I think, really, we'll be honest, we're excited to watch Mason Kelly. Man, he was wheeling and dealing last year. We're hoping that more things out of him again this year.
Well, again, I appreciate you guys reaching out. Appreciate the coverage, and this is fun. Good time, and hope to do it again.
Hell yeah, we'd love to have you on again, Coach. You were awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the Waverly head football coach, and very strong, man. I don't know if you guys see. I mean, he looks like he's ready to kick some ass.
Husky boy.
Coach Crabtree!
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Coach. I'm not joking. I mean, I remember last year after that Waverly Yoda game, I went to interview him, and I was kind of fanboy. I'm like, those arms are ginormous.
Well, he
Like,
literally sat there and was like, I was feeling the head coaching job, but I really like what I was doing with the because he had like a powerlifting team at the time, boys and girls as well.
and not just
as a
like
side
you
project.
took him to state. So he's not allergic to working out. We'll say that. Big fella.
I literally wanted to say with that Wheelersburg Waverly game, we're going to see who's more ripped.
Yeah.
I'm going to comment on it.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no man, I'm excited that we got some names in that backfield. I still don't know if I trust, with all the question marks on.
Them and Wheelersburg are both like, hey, it's going to be like Uniola last year where it's just a revolving door of just elite level running backs. To where
Hearing
it's
him
like,
kind of talk about an RPO and getting guys outside, I'm pretty excited about that too. I think there might be somebody that might be the best at being a utility
I think
player.
fantasy draft wise,
Maybe the best waiver pickup you
You
can
try
get.
to take a shot in the dark. I think you get your two for sure running backs. Maybe grab your wide receiver and a quarterback or
Oh,
two wide
100%.
receivers,
100%.
and then you're like, all right, which
With 6 teams
Wheelersburg,
now.
Waverly? I'm telling you one thing though. I would not draft if you draft a Wheelersburg running back. I would not come back around and draft a Waverly running back. I would kind of.
I'm thinking more of like you've got your established guy. Maybe
Yeah.
you grab a quarterback. Maybe you're sitting there and be like, dang, I got this chance at the wide
maybe
receiver.
you go
That's the
4 wide
lottery
receivers
ticket
in a
I'll
row, mess
Yeah.
everybody's plans up, and then now you're holding all the cards to trade 4 good running backs.
Yeah, didn't somebody try that last year?
I don't think so. I think somebody said they were going to, but it didn't.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stash one. But yeah, man, I just don't know. There's so many question marks. But
I'm pretty sure I pitched that same idea last year.
is
Whoever picks the right one is going to have the best trade piece in the league.
Oh, another one that before we go on to our next segment, another running back that I want to definitely put in the honorable mention because he probably should have been in my top 5. He just the cards didn't fall that way. It's man, I'm sorry, I blanked. Cutright from, I think his first name's Caleb. Caleb Cutright from
Yeah, it's just like
Southeastern.
Caden Cutright, but it's like
Yeah,
no.
yeah, that's he had 845 yards. He finished 6th in the league last year.
He's all over the stat board.
And Phillips, he's gone, so he'll probably go higher in the league. I just, I don't think we should be sleeping on him as much. I think, you say he's all over stats. He had 38 receptions last year. So, I think if you end up having him as your running back too, you can feel okay. Like if
He's going to get touches. You know what I mean? Even if they're outscored and things like that, you can't pass the ball all the time. That's not the way it works.
It's kind of crazy because last year Southeastern, on the football field, wins and losses didn't go in their favor. But fantasy-wise, if you had Pfeiffer, Cheadle, or Cutright, you were not disappointed. Like you had a pretty
Cheadle was pretty solid fantasy option wide receiver wise.
I'm excited to see how those guys fall. Again, I'm excited for our draft August 8th. Make sure that you're there at
the Honda Civic Center. No, it's it's Creekside Occasions
at 7 p.m. It is going to be a red carpet affair. We're going to have some of the draft picks in. It's basically going to be the NFL draft for our fantasy football league.
Red carpet affair. Be there, be square.
Yep, and we're going to have some good food, some good games, and some good hospitality. Thank you, Todd.
And just a better place to do business.
Todd Stoughton for helping us out with that. Also, if you want to be a sponsor for that or anything with the Ride the Wave, make sure you get a hold of us.
I believe we're
red
still looking for
carpet's
one more.
expensive.
Yeah, red.
Okay, we went to Ollie's
Red
and checked it out.
carpet.
It's like, look, we're not asking for money to do
Still looking
stuff.
for
We
one
just
more
wanna do
fantasy
cool stuff.
I
coach
don't
as
want
well,
to be. I
right?
just want to have fun with my friends still. But yeah, so make sure that you're coming out to that. It's going to be a great event, and just support our local athletes, our local kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you can't make it, it will be live streamed, but we do encourage you to still try to be there. Anyone else that you guys are? Juan Miller, I don't know where. I'm hearing the same thing I heard last year. He's a wide receiver, he's a quarterback, and he's a running back, so I think he's more of a flex. Aiden Rocky Jones, again, you are the flex. You're not a running back or a wide receiver. Silas Stewart, man, I'm excited to see him as a running back.
I think you got to, I don't know a ton of players in the league, and it's not like I know this kid personally, but it's like just being around him, got to talk to his family and things like that. I just think he's the right type of guy to be able to make the transition to already know. Yeah. And when you're working on your footwork, again, as a wide receiver, it's going to help in the backfield too. Yeah. I know it's not going to translate like a ground and pound, but it's like you can't tell me when you already know how to just, stutter those feet to make somebody miss.
He's got the recipe for some stew.
I'm looking like a player comp, LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. It's short, stout, and somehow still fast.
I mean more of like...
You say somehow still fat?
Fast.
Oh.
He, his ability to catch the quick footwork, if you stutter, it'll make subpar defenders stop.
Yeah.
Especially at this level. So it's like, I really feel like he's going to have something in his bag to be able to pull out.
All right. Adam, you have any other
I do not.
shout-outs? I think you can watch out for those Hillsborough running backs other than Hutchinson, but I think you want to take them late in the round. Miami Trace, I think they're going to be throwing a lot. Plus, I don't really know exactly how that's going to go to put one of those in my top
I'm weirdly
5.
high on these. Like, I feel like, I don't want to give away draft strategy, but I'm looking at one of these running backs from waiver.
We still need a team filled, right? We have 5 of 6 coaches.
Yeah, we have 5 still looking for a 6th. If you're interested, get a hold of us. All right, let's go on to start, bench, cut. First one up. Spider-Man, Batman, Iron Man. Adam, I'll have you go first.
That's a hard
It's an
one.
interesting concept here.
Yeah.
I'm going last on this one.
Tony? I made it up.
So the only thing I'll say is like, is this your personal favorite, or is this like who you would want to be?
We'll go with personal favorite.
I would want to
Personal
be my
favorites?
personal favorite. So like, it's not like, hey, who do we think is most adept at protecting and saving cities?
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%. It's just
That
like
would
who are
be an
your favorite.
interesting conversation in itself. Then.
Yeah.
It would definitely be. So
But
first, I'm starting Iron Man. 1, he's my favorite. 2, he's G. Like, I feel like he is what a real superhero in real life that would be.
his
And
name's
then
Tony.
I'm benching Spider-Man. I'm cutting Batman. I know that's
It's an
probably
L
hurt.
list, Clay.
Yeah.
It's a real hard L list.
Yeah, I figured you would not agree with it at all whatsoever. I love Spider-Man.
I think we might have the same list. I'll say it before you say it. But I think
1,
we
2,
might have
3,
to
say it
go.
at the same time. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Should we do it? That's
All right,
kinda
Tony, go.
I'm gonna go. I'm keeping Spider-Man. He might be a Batman guy, but I'm starting Spider-Man. I'm benching Batman, and I'm cutting Iron Man.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, Tony. Right there, locked in,
Yeah.
locked in.
No,
I just feel like with
Iron Man's my
Spider-Man,
favorite.
he's kind of a real superhero that gives me a little bit lore. I love probably if I'm like watching like cartoons and stuff, Batman might be one of the best ones. But like when I'm really
Best one-liners for sure. He's just like he's just ruthless. But when it
Yeah.
comes to like true like superheroes, like what you were saying, oh, that's Spider-Man. Like he doesn't even hit his villains as hard as he can because he'll kill them if he does. So, like he's holding back
The
because
thing
he's
that held me
truly
back
trying
with
to
Spider-Man
save.
is like, you better be living in New York, because he ain't coming to save you anywhere else.
Who?
With
Batman
Spider-Man.
never left Gotham in his
Yeah.
life. His parents got shot there, and he still didn't leave.
I cut Batman.
Iron Man. Iron Man also
brother.
also
Yeah.
a New York guy.
Yeah, preach, huh?
Iron Man also a New York guy.
I feel
His
like he
name's
went around
Tony,
the
and I
world.
still cut him.
Actually, I feel like every single time they say that the world is ending in those movies, they're like, yeah, they're attacking New York.
They are attacking New York. It's the hubba,
Do you know where they shoot most of the stuff, though?
California.
Cleveland.
Oh,
Really?
Dude, they're shooting one right now up in Cleveland. They had the road shut down. I heard it on Common
that's
Minute,
wild
too, but I
because
can't say
like
that, but-
all the trash.
Okay, one more start bench cut, and then we'll get to your courtroom, Adam. I feel like this was going to be easy, but I just kind of wanted to hear
I'll go
you
first
guys'
just because I have to
opinion.
pee.
Madden, 2K, or MLB The Show? Start bench cut.
Oh, I'm.
I didn't put college
I'm,
football in here.
I'm
because I
cutting
knew that'd be
Madden. Madden's getting out of here.
Cutting
Like,
Madden.
Just the new aspect of the throw animation on college football. Like you can now like lead somebody and throw some like there. I'd have to show you like it's an interception every single time on Madden and it shouldn't be, but you
Yeah.
can finally make those throws. So I'm cutting Madden because it's a piece of shit game. It's awful.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna bench MLB The Show, even though 2K is just like makes me rate. Like I hate it. Like I'm gonna pop a blood vessel because of 2K because it's just such a shitty game.
Yeah. I wish they never killed the NBA Live. NBA Live 19 was amazing. It was better than 2K19. I feel like if they would have kept going, it would be the game that everybody picks now. Tony. And it had Joel Embiid on it. Did you see that they might be bringing back the black jerseys for the Sixers?
Did I see?
Dude, if they do that, I'm buying
I took
one.
that
I'm not
behind
even
the
a Sixers
I
fan,
took
I'll
that
buy
behind
one.
the bushes, bud. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I was pumped.
Yeah, I will buy a jersey, and I don't even care for it.
Well,
Start bench cut, Madden, 2K, it will be the show.
I take the exact same lineup.
Man, you guys are on the
Again,
same.
we're
You
on
guys are
locked
on a
in,
whole nother
son.
level. The boys are back in town over here.
Love it.
But that being said, I just love MLB games, so I gotta have them on there. I love 2K. Madden just pisses me off more because I'm like, dude, you've been doing it for like 35 years, and you're still like
This
not
bad?
every time.
Oh,
It's
great
like,
news.
dude, you better. I don't understand why they didn't make it like a Witcher game attached to football, where you're walking around the streets, picking like actually like living life. Like you've
Yeah.
had so much time, and you've done nothing.
I hate that.
And then a college
I
football
have the
game
same
comes out,
list as
and
you
it's
guys,
better
but
than.
I'm with you that I hate that I have 2K first.
Yeah,
because they're just like Madden.
I literally
But the
said I
only
hated
thing-
2K,
the
and that was
only
my
thing-
number one.
The only thing is, one, I just don't play the show enough, and I should. It's a great game. I just don't play it enough.
When I'm playing it on easy, so everything's like a fastball, and I'm
Yeah,
just
I
like,
just want to hit
boom!
I will
Hepatitis,
say
see you
longevity-
later.
Longevity, like I don't pick back up the new MLB The Show, but
Yeah.
it's like when I'm on it, I'm just like Phillies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go easy, man.
I'm-
17-1.
Exactly.
160
I always just
games.
go. I'll pick the Reds. I'll make a franchise. Piss on the Reds. Just go straight to the bats. Go
Yeah.
to their Double-A team, the bats and the Chattanooga Lookouts, and I put myself on the bats, and I'm just playing minor
The
league.
only thing that really saved 2K for me, honestly, God, because you know this as much as anybody, that I pretty much stopped buying the 2Ks until you were like, hey, they have this Legends thing on it. And
I was just telling my cousin it was funny because this is how goofy Clay is, and by goofy I mean sometimes he's just an idiot.
You're telling me this, I'm like, I don't see it.
He's playing 2K that he bought for his new Xbox Series XS, just like the newest version of it. And he's like, yeah, dude, I do not have that on my Xbox. So he FaceTimes me, and I look at it. I was like, yeah, you bought the last year's model
Yeah.
2K on your new Xbox.
On the new Xbox, yeah.
So you wasted your money.
Yeah, I did.
Immediately bought 2K a second time a week
bought
later.
twice, but it
Yeah.
was well worth the money because I will give it. What I like about the NBA eras is because it makes me, especially on 2K24 right now, is that it lets me go back and play the old 2Ks, but like with the newer 2K graphics.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I wish though that you could make because I thought I saw something where you like I think it's only for the old one, like when you go in and play like the Bird and the Jordan era, where you can turn off like where you're seeing it on an old TV, which I like that.
Yeah.
I just wish in the in the quote unquote LeBron era one and like the 2003 one, you can turn off and it's like the 2K now scoreboard. You know what I mean? Like the old scoreboard's cool, but sometimes
I like that part. I like the old.
Yeah.
I like
Or
the
like
old
I wish like if you started in the Kobe era, right, and then you got to the LeBron era, then it changed to that, and then when you're in the LeBron era and you got to like the end, like the 20s.
I thought it did.
I don't know. I haven't made it to the 20s.
I went all the way back to the 80s. The only thing I don't like is that you cannot just do an expansion team. You have to wait for them to expand. And I wanted to be the Vancouver Grizzlies. But no, they come in the league in 95 and they move to Memphis before 2003. Like, it's a 7-year span that they we'll start and then move. Why even start in Vancouver? Unless it's like, hey, we'll start over here in the West so we can be a West team and then transition to the East Coast where taxes are cheaper and then we'll still be in the West Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't know. And then MLB The Show, man, they're my player, I think, honest to God, is the best journey. Like
yeah. I like it a lot better.
It's too long sometimes, man.
Yeah. With 2K, they're my player sucks because they're like, hey, you're a 60 overall and you're supposed to be a LeBron. It's like, okay,
that's
well,
what got
these
me
guys
off
are coming in the league 75, 80 overall.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if you have $5,000, you get to skip all of it. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm like, you little rich kid on
Can
there.
you
You're
even,
like, damn,
is
dude.
it still where you can't max out to 99?
well, the only reason they did that so you couldn't just pay to play, you max out to 88 and then you have to play a certain amount of career
Yeah, but you
games.
can skip
To
up
get
then,
up to 99.
yeah.
You can
Okay,
skip
so I
a
like
whole-
that you
yeah.
have to you get to 99, but you really have to play to get 99.
It costs like I just checked it the other day. It costs like $160 to get your player maxed out to an 88, and then you have to like grind it. And I was like, who is this for, 2K? Like,
Yeah. Kids that steal their mom's credit card.
Well, just
Or
like you
just
said
little
about the
spoiled
story,
rich
that's my
kids.
biggest thing with Madden. There is
Yeah.
absolutely no reason why, and they act like every year they come out with all these new features, and they come up with some stuff that's decent.
as soon as as a community, we just need to not buy
Buy Madden.
college MUT. It's called cut. You know,
Yeah.
no, like the MUT, Madden Ultimate Team, College Ultimate Team. No, just as a
They have a
community,
college ultimate team?
yeah, wait,
they
what
tried
is
it on
that?
NCAA 14.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah,
get that out.
just we got as a community. Fucking
it
cut
out.
that shit out right now.
What is
Nobody
it, though?
buy
I'm not
it.
even
Listen,
know
we're
what I'm
going
cut-
You
we're
buy
gonna
a bunch
get
of
Coach
packs.
Woodward on
so-
here to give a motivational speech on not getting that, and then nobody will get it. That's
Yeah,
that's how it's
so
gonna go.
basically,
Yeah,
like,
change the world.
I can
How
remember
many
because
T-Bone
like in
got the bagel sandwich
2016,
back
like
at McDonald's. We can do anything.
if you like get like the ultimate editions, they'll probably give you some stuff. Like I remember like they do it to push players. So like say Bo Jackson gets into the Hall of Fame on Madden, he'll be a 99 overall in the
Yeah.
ultimate team. You got to buy a bunch of packs, spend a bunch of money to try to get him, and then next week he's at an 86 overall. And it's like, well, I mean, Bo Jackson is like 90s minimum. And it's just they muddy the water with so many different players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, are we ready for your courtroom?
Yeah, we got a couple of
All
them.
right. Boom, 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 boom. It's Adam's courtroom. Bam, 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 bam.
Oh, I thought Law
So,
and Order.
court
Dun, 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 dun,
Is
dun,
now in
dun.
session, fellas.
All right.
So, first one, I'm gonna let Tony go first or pick. You want to go first or second?
We usually know the topic before we get to pick that.
Well, we're doing it different now. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
So it's would you
Content the court. I win.
It's just a question.
live forever or not live forever?
Die at 53.
Yeah. Like what? Yeah. Well, no. Hold on. Cake or pie? We'll start off with cake or pie. Which is better, cake or pie?
I'll take second.
Okay. And then, do you
So I
want
go
cake or
first?
pie?
Cake.
Okay. So you will go first.
All right, I'll go first.
Let me get a timer up here. Where's my timer at? There it is. And go.
So you're going to think that pie is better because it's pizza, right? Wrong! That's not a real pie. What do you have on your birthday? Cake. What do you have on special occasions? Cake. What do people make things out of? Cake. What do you do with a pie? You make it. It's not even really that great. And it's very original and stale.
That was a good 15. It was 15.12. That was perfect.
I had to get that counter
I
argument.
think he stopped at like 14.92, but I didn't hit the button.
I had to get that counter argument about the pizza pie out first. Let's throw it out.
Well, I was talking like actual like
Yeah, I don't know why he
pies.
mentioned that. He wasted all this time.
and go.
Wasted time with the pizza. All that being said, the pie has so many varieties. The inside filling, you know what you could do? Mess up a cake. You know what you can have? Bad cake. I'll tell you with a pie, you can have the outside. That's totally fine. Kick that away if you mess it up. No matter what, a pie is good because the filling is always great.
Pie sucks.
I'll go with Tony on this one.
Pie sucks.
Bad cake
hate
sucks
pie.
more.
I prefer pie originally, but I just he said it right. Like you can really fuck up a pie, even if a
cake.
cake's or you can really fuck up a cake. With a pie, it's like,
Pie sucks.
Dude, and then you involve icing. It's like sometimes the icing, you're literally like you poured 16 bags of sugar in here. No,
the variety is what got me too. Because if you could have also said something with variety, because you could have a bunch of different cakes.
Hell of variety with the cakes.
Yeah, but
But
who
he
the hell
mentioned
is good
it.
enough to make it like
he mentioned it.
a
I just hate
scratch
pie.
red velvet cake?
I'm just glad I didn't have to. If you had made me defend pie, I just wouldn't have said anything. I would be like, pie sucks.
No, pie.
I was sitting
love
there and
pie.
I was like,
I hate it.
the variety was key. And
I eat pumpkin
again,
pie. That's the only kind of pie I like.
All right, now this next one. So Tony, you get to pick good looking or smart. Which one would you rather be?
Okay, I got this.
And then
I'll go.
first
go-
or second. I was gonna let
I'll
him
go
go
s-
first, second.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, he'll pick the first or second, but I was letting you pick.
I'll go
it.
second so I can have a counter argument.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you a layup with this one too, probably, but
What are you doing? Good looking?
nah.
You going with smart? Okay, and go.
The reason that I want to be smart is because you can live with everyday life. You can succeed in the endeavors that you want to do. You can sit down, be smart about your time and your time management. You can be a better person all around. Good looking, you're usually dumb. You're so infatuated with yourself. People giving you all of these accolades and things that you don't deserve, and when they're gone, so are the accolades.
And Clayton, go.
You made my point at the end of your point. Whenever you're good looking, people just give you shit. You don't need to be smart, and people don't remember or care about most smart people. You have to be the smartest of the smart. You ain't gonna be there. Average looking people that think they're really good looking, like Marilyn Monroe, she wasn't even that great looking. She's gonna be there forever.
I'm gonna have to give it to Tony on this one because
Yeah, I'd
he
much
had
rather be smart.
he had like
I would much rather be smart.
I'd rather be good looking, but Tony's made a very compelling argument.
Hold on. Clay and Tony's courtroom. Defend yourself. You get 15 seconds to defend being pretty. Or actually, the judge is going to learn us on something.
Yeah.
Now you get 15.
Yeah, the reason why I would pick pretty is just because, like Clay said, you can get everything. Life's so much easier. People do work for you. You
People
can
could
get
have
the
never
movies.
met you before. Be like, here.
Yeah,
Take
just
that.
take this
We
stuff.
ruined
Like,
your
just
time. But
yeah.
it's like
Margaret Robbie right now, I'm devastated. She's having her first kid just because she's beautiful.
And
Like,
I was serious. Marilyn Monroe was not that attractive, but she's mildly attractive. And then we're just like, I'm gonna make it look like I'm super attractive. And then bam, there you go.
I think
In
a
my
lot with the
house.
thing is like time runs out, but you could also say you
Bob.
can build up so much being beautiful that when you're ugly, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like sometimes you were so beautiful then that they're just still sitting there being like, well, she was super hot back then.
Well, you think you look good now. About 10 years
It's
ago.
like, yeah, she's 80 now, but
but yeah, you made like 3 points for your cause, or 4 for the cause, and then like 3 that said like, "Hey, Clay's cause sucks." So I was like, Clay had like I think like just 2 and 2. So I was like, you got a couple more points
Yeah,
in that
I'd
one.
way to
rather be
stop
smart.
it on 14.99.
I know that was.
I almost said being pretty, you could get paid a lot more, but being smart, you could get paid way more.
Dude, the time management
But
thing
the
for me-
workload.
Yeah.
You might be able to get paid more being smart, but you
Yeah.
would not have to do
Well,
shit
see, I don't
being
know
he
good
this
speaks
looking.
about being
smart motherfuckers really don't work because like
Time
that thing that people
management,
are
bro.
like,
Yeah.
like
They
you
give
know,
you the
you don't
20
work
minutes.
if you love what you do. Like smart people, like that's true. Like they really don't work. Like I will use my brother-in-law for an example. He's a lawyer. He literally he's a salesman of his time. You know what I mean? So like whenever he's doing his work, it's because he's like, yeah, I like this enough. I've agreed to do it for this much money. Like I'm
But your brother-in-law, on top of being smart, he's a good-looking man.
yeah. So like he 2 for 2 on that one. You know, and he's out with Cincy. Oh.
Dude, good looking, there's the opposite of that. There was 2 ugly-ass mofos blowing leaves off the freaking side of the road when I was
That was
driving to
me,
work.
asshole!
Oh, shit.
Dude, so we were cutting weed eating on the side of the road
Deadass.
earlier.
Hold on, I can tell the story way better. I'm literally driving up. I'm like, why is this truck going like 1 mile an hour? All of a
That
sudden,
was what I was trying to figure out too,
I
Jody.
see a
Just so
leaf
we're all
blower
clear.
at the bottom. I'm like, what the hell's going on? There's 2 dudes sitting on the tailgate of a freaking flatbed truck, just sitting there holding a leaf blower, running down the side of the road. I'm like, this is what? 7:30
I
in
ain't
the
walking up
morning?
down that hill. Get on that tailgate and go back.
That was good stuff.
Oh man, I love my job.
Now, this next one is more of just like a discussion, I guess, than it is like a
I like
college
it, though. I
courtroom.
like it.
Okay.
Should there be a cap on how much money someone can make?
Without I want to. Here's the discussion. I want a cap if you're not willing to share. If you want to be like cool, I'm not asking for a specific percentage, but I don't care if society has to vote and be like, nah, he's been cool with his money. We're not going to ask for any more. But I feel like there should be something that like if you're just going to keep going, you got to give some. So I'm only going to cap you if you're not willing to give.
My
me
thing
that.
is, I feel like there should be a cap for generational wealth. So if you can get 3 generations behind you, that's fine. And then after that, everything you own is now paid off. You never have to worry about any taxes or anything like that. And it's almost like you have a card that's like if you walk into a car dealership or you want to get rid of your house and get a new one, you're just like, hey, here's this card. It's mine now.
That's good.
Like, it's not like you
like that.
at that point, like, your money is more going towards, like, I guess, I don't want to say government, but just like.
Well, it's going towards, like, it technically would be going to the government, but at the same time, like, if it's going to the government and, like, you paid off a lot of debt that the government has, it's really kind of going to the people as well. Because, like, if it doesn't directly go to the people, it could help take down stuff. Like, my thing is, it's kind of weird. It's almost like I would cap what a business could make, but then that is technically capping what a person makes because of that business. Like,
You could get a second business.
Huh? Exactly.
So if you're smart enough, you can pop it. I mean,
Exactly.
Elon
I mean,
Musk
somebody
is
I
sitting
think
there
of as like guys like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk that are just making all this money, and it's
and
just
do-
like
doesn't pay tax. He doesn't pay tax.
it's like you're doing like are you? I don't know if Bezos is really doing anything for the greater good of the population.
Yeah.
Like I know like he's
Not really at all. And the thing is, again, these dudes, like, a lot of their money's in the stock market. So, like, when they make $800 million, they didn't make $800 million because they didn't sell anything. So it's like they get to sit there, and that's kind of what I mean about you got to share a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. No cap if you want to share. I'm capping the hell
But
out
then
of it.
and also, it's a
wanna be a
double-edged
butthead.
sword with like, okay,
Honest to
well,
God,
where does the money go? And then if it's going to government, who's keeping them in check to actually divvying
So I
it
got-
out
I
with
got a
right?
question for you. All right,
Get the potholes
So
filled.
let's say, right? Let's just say somehow Jeff Bezos knows you, right? Like we'll put our stuff three, right? Loves us for some reason. He turned on YouTube one day, found Ride the Wave show, said, "Fucking love those guys." Drops dead the next day. Puts you in his will that you just get everything, right? I feel like we're all three good human beings. I feel like we would give our money to, help with charities, stuff like that. We would do some good stuff, right?
If I don't get the Nobel Peace Prize, I'm pissed.
Right.
First thing I'm doing,
I'm not even
NFL.
trying to be
Hold on,
good at
hold on.
two-shoes.
After all that, right? Like you help with hunger, everything like that. What's like the first stupid thing that you're
Oh,
gonna
the first
invest
dumb
money
purchase.
in
I love it.
that you're like, hey, like this needs to be right.
For the Minnesota Vikings dome, I'm gonna buy one, replicate it, and give it to the Vinton County Vikings. So they're gonna
That's
have,
pretty awesome.
Like a mini
That's
dome?
pretty awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be like the exact replica. It's like
Yeah.
this looks like it should be. It looks like the
your-
Minnesota Stadium, USA Bank or US Bank Stadium.
Okay.
And-
Name on the stadium, or do they put the statue out front? You'd probably say both. They'd probably do both, but
Oh, see, I was gonna
for
call
you? For
no,
you?
I was
Yeah.
gonna call
Like
it.
after
I was
you
gonna
put the
call it
dome.
Vinton County because there's Vinton County National Bank, just Vinton County National Bank Stadium, like US Bank Stadium. So, like-
and then a statue of him
And then a
outside.
statue right
The
out
statue
front.
but like
of him-
full Viking gear, make it look like I
Gotta
was
have
ripped
the long
up.
hair in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay. Tell me, what about you? What's the first stupid thing you're buying after you obviously save the world? Because we know we're gonna save the world, but no one cares about listening to that. So what are you doing?
I don't know if it's like buying one specific thing, but I'm doing my own archaeology. Like I'm freaking,
That'd be cool.
I'm fucking doing the real shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm literally be like, I don't care if I have so much money that I'm like, hey, I have an archaeology agency. You guys start this dig. I come down for the cool shit. I'm not going to take all the props. I'm going to make sure they're in the videos. But it's like I want to go touch some stuff that's 500 million years.
Can I do a second stupidest purchase?
Well, mine, I don't know if it might be yours, but like no one cares about mine except for probably you. Like I'm making Yu-Gi-Oh! The show become real.
Yeah, that'd be
That-
a pretty good one.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
first.
My second.
They better get style points because the biggest thing is like if they were going to be up there doing it, I don't need them just being like now I'm playing this. And
Oh
I'm
no,
super
yeah,
smart.
but like the monsters
I want-
coming to life, yeah, and like it
Gah!
would be like in real life. Hey, fuck you, pal, playing this, suck on it. What do we do? Like that's how I would probably go.
I want to see reactions in the opponent's face.
Yeah, and
Second-
honest to
Me,
God,
like-
if those things, listen, you probably didn't watch the show. I don't care if I'm nerding out right now, but if that was real, like motherfuckers would be there to watch it. You're telling me that there's dinosaurs and dragons like fighting each other?
I lived with a dude that gamed for a long time, and he played League of Legends. He showed me worlds, like their worlds, and I'm like, this is almost a sport. It's like, yes, they're not controlling that person, but like the way that they like ran plays, the way
Yeah.
that they did this shit, and they had announcers, and so it was like educating me. I was like so impressed
Dude,
with the fact
you
that I
get
was
into
like,
it.
I'm sitting
I
there,
found it on ESPN one day on accident. I'm like, yo, what is this?
dude, and when you start getting backstories of the players and
Yeah.
stuff, and if you're good at anything, you're cocky, so you get the ones that are just like
Well,
flipping
all right.
dudes off while like I
All right,
don't
we're
know,
all
I'm
do
all for
two.
it.
We're all
Yeah.
do two.
Second one is I'm just gonna have somebody airlift Wellston and drop it in the ocean.
The whole city. Dude.
No, just town.
Just
the whole
buy
town. That's
Wellston
nice.
and just like let it age and be a nasty like all the food in the
Fix
fridge.
it all
No,
in.
I
actually,
want every house, but all the food has to be left in the fridge. It has to smell
We're going to turn
horrible.
to South
No,
Korea.
even
No
worse
food for
actually.
anyone.
It's it's the town itself sits on top of like coal mines and stuff like that. Fill all the coal mines with TNT, and instead of airlifting it, just send it to the ocean that way, just by rocket launching it, blow it up.
Get out. All right, Tony, what would be the second thing you do?
I want to be
This
Wile E.
is kinda like our
Coyote and
draft
pushing
picks.
the
I
thing
didn't really
down.
think of one, but this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think that I would have to go with car.
Yeah.
Just because, like,
Well, you probably could buy multiple cars though. Like,
yeah.
well, we'll
but-
say
but
we'll
the
say
thing
we
is
already
when
have
you
we'll say we
already
have
have
the
money
house and
because it's the
the
first
car.
purchase. It's like I
Yeah,
definitely
because that's a
wanna
smart
ride.
purchase. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to buy a house, you're going to buy a car. I'm talking like you come home, even though you're rich, and your wife's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I love that.
yeah,
Like, why did you buy a stadium for a high school team?
yeah. My number
It's
two,
NFL
I
life.
already know it right off the top of my head. Honestly, I don't even think it's stupid. I'm buying a giraffe, and that's going to be my transportation source.
And they're like, "Where are you going to keep it?" I can buy the encampment.
Yeah, I bought a zoo. It's like, okay.
I really want, like, this is weird. I'm trying to think of like shit that I actually sit and be like, one day I'm going to have this.
Yeah.
I want a food forest, and this is like to where
I was
really.
thinking candy room is what you're about to say.
Same thing, right? Food forest,
I
candy
want
room.
like 200 acres of just, some good land, trees on it.
I would
everything
like that.
And I want to trail through it, but when I walk through that trail, it's going to be like, that is chamomile, that's rosemary, that's oregano, and so I could walk through there and have a lot of medicinal purposes, all types of other things, and
I thought the first one you said was ketamine, not chamomile. I was like,
Jeez, I'm gonna be making more money
he's
off
going
this.
down a K-hole.
Go deep ozone.
no, I have the ketamine for my horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
my giraffe.
Clay's giraffes. Yeah.
My giraffe. That's what. You got any more? I probably could do this all day. is the
Yeah.
problem.
I really
Something
love
else I
Buick
thought
Grand
of.
National. It was like,
Huh?
there's no reason why a Buick Grand National should have ever been one of the fastest cars on the planet.
Yeah.
And in like '85,
Would you
they
go?
did-
Here's my thing. Would you go to space?
Yeah, I was just about to say I would
Nah.
try to buy a different planet,
Not
maybe
yet.
the moon.
Do it.
Not yet.
I couldn't do it.
If I could afford
I
to
need more
buy the
time.
moon, I would 100%.
How would you buy the moon?
I don't know, pay somebody for it, I guess.
That would be the biggest scam of all time. Yeah, hey, give me fucking.
Well, no, if they gave me-
$30 you on the moon.
Dude, there's something you can pay $50 and like they'll name a star after
Yeah,
you.
that's stupid.
Come on.
Well, like,
Don't
no,
do
I
that.
could go up there and, like, every time it's night, it's like, make sure nobody's outside. They better not be looking.
Yeah.
They can't even look at it
Don't
no
look at my
more.
star. No.
Yeah. But no, I'd buy the moon and be like, I'm going to go put a house up there and nobody's allowed coming up there.
I'd probably buy the Cubs.
See, I thought
What's-
about
you-
that.
Are you
Like,
buying
they
your
have
favorite
enough,
sports
right?
team? Huh?
Like you'd have enough for that and
Oh,
stuff.
Bezos could buy. If you can buy a football team, you can buy a baseball team easy. I mean, he almost bought the Commanders. Like you know how people like get groups together to go in and buy a team. Bezos is like, I'm the group.
Yeah. I might,
No, I'm definitely buying a franchise. And that's
I
probably one of
might,
the
I
first
might
things
buy
I'll
the
do.
Pacers, run it into the ground,
I love how I'm
relocate
just
it.
buying things I hate and destroying them. Like, that is what
So I
I'm
never
gonna
have
do.
to deal with it ever in my life.
All right, well, that is the time for us. That was a really fun show. Thank you, Coach Crabtree and Coach Woodward, for coming on.
Both great.
Yeah. Hey, we got our top 5 running backs out. That was going to be a lot of fun, so make sure that you watch our socials. Again, August 8th. Make sure you're at Creekside Occasions for a very, very fun draft. Again, we're taking any kind of sponsorships that you guys would like to hear about. Just shoot us a message. We'll send you over that guide. And fucking be nice to somebody today, all right? Like, that's what life's all about, making sure that we make everybody feel good, pat somebody on the back, say something nice to somebody today. Could make them live forever. Peace out, Girl Scouts. We love you. Hit that like and subscribe.
Smash that like and subscribe.